Hello guys, this is your friend and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Overlord Naruto smash all girls by using his powers part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. Naruto was charging up his Rasengan, his opponent, his friend, Sasuke Uchiha was charging his own signature jutsu up, the Chidori. The two leapt at each other, one ready to kill, one not. The two jutsus collided, creating a large vortex of varied bright lights and colors. The two jumped away from each other, canceling each other's jutsus out as they landed on the ground below. Meanwhile, Kakashi could feel the tremendous swell of power. No, he thought as he raced ahead of Pakun, his tracking dog. Hey Kakashi, wait up. He yelled to no avail as the silver-haired man kept racing ahead of him. Back with Naruto and Sasuke. Pant, you're pretty good Pant, but I'll get you back to the village, no matter what, I promised Sakura-chan. Naruto said, catching his breath. You'll never learn, will you, Dobi? She doesn't love you, he said as he got into his combat stance, Naruto doing the same. Hold it. Kakashi yelled as he jumped down to Naruto and Sasuke. Kakashi-sen, Kuchiyos, Doden, Suga no Jutsu, Summoning, Earth Release, Tracking Fang Technique, Kakashi yelled as several dogs erupted from the ground and clamped their jaws onto Naruto's chest, arms, and legs. Naruto screamed out in pain, Kakashi-sensei. Why? He yelled as the dogs dug their fangs deeper into Naruto's flesh. Pakun jumped down next to Kakashi in total shock. Kakashi. What the hell are you doing? He yelled. Shut up, you dumb mutt, Kakashi growled as he kicked Pakun, the small dog yelping as he hit the rocky wall of the valley, poofing away seconds later. Kakashi, what are you doing? Sasuke roared. Calm down, Sasuke. I'm simply helping you kill this demon, Kakashi sneered at Naruto, causing Naruto's eyes to widen. What? Naruto asked scared. You took everything from me. My sensei. Rin. Everything. And now it ends, Kyuubi. He yelled. What are you talking about, Kakashi? Sasuke asked. Sasuke, this demon is the human form of the Kyuubi that attacked the village 12 years ago. Become a hero, Sasuke. Kill the Kyuubi. Kakashi roared. Sasuke stood, slightly intrigued. He would gain even more recognition, and the thought of that put a smirk on his face, and he turned to Naruto. Time to die, demon. Chidori. He yelled as lightning formed in his hand. He rushed to Naruto as alarming speeds and drove his hand into Naruto's heart. You escaped me once, demon, but not this time, Kakashi thought as he walked over to Naruto and kicked him into the water, and a hidden smirk crossed his face as he watched Naruto sink into the depths. Sasuke started grunting in pain as blood flowed from his eyes. Kakashi looked at Sasuke and smirked again. The ultimate Sharingan, the Mangekyo, was unlocked. He noticed Sasuke wobble and caught him as he passed out. He started back to Konoha. However, if he had looked into the water or the forest surrounding him, he would have seen several sets of glowing eyes, all fixated on Naruto. Around 50 small goblin-like creatures emerged from the forest. Some were red and clad in worn leather armor and held knives made out of glass. Others were green and clad in dull metal armor and held rusted swords. Around 20 others emerged from the water with Naruto in their arms. However, these were blue and had bamboo blowgun tucked on their back. They hoisted Naruto out of the water and onto land as the other goblins huddled around Naruto. Is this really the new master, sire? One of the Reds asked as a gray long-eared goblin wearing a robe that looked much older and wiser than the others walked through the crowd to Naruto. I giblet, the master's power is unmistakable. This child must be his reincarnation, the goblin stated as he examined Naruto. What shall we do, sire? We wait. For what? For the master to wake up, the goblin finished as he noticed Naruto's power suddenly spike. Naruto. 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 A ghostly voice roared. Huh. Naruto said groggily. Naruto, you are near death, put in this state by the traitorous Uchiha, and despicable Hatake. You will not survive without my help, Kyuubi answered. What's the point, Kyuubi? I can't go back home, they're all probably cheering, the demon is dead. Naruto growled. Ah, but whoever said I was bringing you back to return to your wretched village, Kyuubi responded. I am turning you into a being of ultimate power, a ruler, loved by some, feared by the rest. A overlord like I was, before I was forced into this wretched fox body, and then into you. Kyuubi finished. Loved, feared, Naruto asked himself, and when he reached his conclusion, a smile crossed his face. I'll do it. He shouted. Kyuubi roared in response. Let us as one destroy all who oppose and defy us. Kyuubi roared, extending his tails again and lowering them towards Naruto. And let the world tremble in fear at our reign. Naruto roared back, extending his arms, letting Kyuubi's tails pierce through his body. Let us rule this world and let nothing, not man nor demon, stand in our way. They said together, their voices becoming one. Suddenly there was darkness. Back in Konoha, Kakashi had walked through the gate with Sasuke in his arms. Medic Nin spotted him and grabbed Sasuke before shushing to the hospital. Tsunade walked up to Kakashi. Where's Naruto? She asked with worry in her voice. I'm terribly sorry, Hokage-sama, but by the time I had reached Naruto, it was too late. Sasuke had murdered him, and I managed to subdue him while he started at Naruto's corpse. Kakashi lied. His training at Anbu had finally paid off. I sense trickery in your words, Hatake, the two heard from behind them. They turned to see Sabaku no Gaara and his two siblings Temari and Kankuro. What makes you say that? Kakashi asked with a sneer, wishing this demon would just go and die as well. I smell blood on you. Uzumaki's, some on your feet, and splatters on your chest, Gaara replied. What are you talking about, Gaara? Kankuro asked his brother, who was glaring daggers at Kakashi. I'm saying that this man, Naruto's sensei, killed him, Gaara stated. And do you have any proof? Kakashi said. Kakashi, if you're so sure of yourself, then allow me to search your mind, just to prove your innocence, another voice said. When they looked, out stepped Inoichi Yamanaka, head of the Yamanakas and Ino's father. Kakashi mentally paled. Shit. One of the demon lovers just had to be a Yamanaka. He mentally screamed. Well, I'd rather not, because well, you should know that the jutsu puts such a strain on the body, and, he nervously said as he slinked backwards, only to smack into someone. What's your hurry, Kakashi? You look awfully pale for an innocent man, a deep voice said. Kakashi turned to see Choza Akamaiki, head of the Akamaiki clan and father of Choji. Oh okay, Kakashi said as he stood still as Inoichi walked up to him. Shintenshin no Jutsu. Mind-body switch technique, he said as he put his hand on Kakashi's head, allowing him to see inside Kakashi's mind. As Temari stared at the ordeal, she still couldn't believe Naruto was dead. She was thinking of making him her boyfriend. He was sweet and charming, and unlike the other boys in Suna, he wasn't scared of Gaara. Hell, he even tamed his murderous wants. The village publicly apologized to Gaara after his change and even gave him the title of Kazekage. Hey Temari, Kankuro said as she nudged his sister, breaking her out of her train of thought. Yeah, Temari said as she looked at her brother. You thinking of Naruto? Kankuro asked. Yeah, I can't believe he was killed, he was such a nice guy, she said trying to hide her emotion, but Kankuro caught on. Oh, I get it, he said with a smirk. Naruto and Temari sitting in a tree kiss oof. He said in a sing-song voice before getting a fist in a place no man wants to have any physical harm done to, courtesy of a madly blushing Temari. Kakashi's mind. Inoichi walked through the mindscape and he started looking through memories involving Naruto. 4 years earlier, Naruto was tied up in the center of town. A small crowd of people gathered around him, throwing rocks, GL bottles that shattered on Naruto. Some ninja even threw rusty kunais at the poor 8-year-old. Suddenly a Anbu shushin to the crowd, everyone's eyes filled with fear as Naruto's filled with relief. The Anbu then did some hand signs and shouted, Raikari. The crowd got sickeningly evil smiles as Naruto's eyes filled with dread again. The Anbu charged Naruto and thrusted his hand through his chest. This is for my sensei demon. The Anbu spat before shushining away as the Anbu started piling in and apprehending the mob. Back to present. Inoichi watched in horror at the memory. Was Kakashi so sick that he would use AA rank assassination jutsu on a 8-year-old? He looked through the rest of the memories in horror. Kakashi was hell-bent on killing Naruto. He tired to get him killed on missions, making it look like a accident. He refused to train Naruto so he would be killed easier, and was angered when he learned Jiraiya taught Naruto the Rasengan. 5 hours earlier, Kakashi pulled Jiraiya into a corner after leaving the roof where Naruto and Sasuke had their altercation. You fool! Why did you train the demon my sensei's technique? Kakashi yelled at Jiraiya. I'm sorry, who said it was your authority to say who gets taught the move you couldn't master? Jiraiya said. Why the hell would you choose the demon over the sensible choice, which just so happens to be Sasuke? Kakashi yelled back. Who are you to judge who learns the move? I am the master of the jutsu since Minato died, and when I die Naruto will become the master. I'm not the one who decided this, it was the council. You have to teach the Uchiha everything or you'll be marked a traitor, Kakashi said with a smirk. Well you in this village. I'm out of here, he yelled as he shushined away. You're going to regret this, you old fart. How dare you refuse to give the Uchiha everything he deserves, Kakashi thought as he shushined away. Back to present. And then he viewed the final 2 memories, one involving Kakashi being hired by Danzo and certain members of the council to kill Naruto, and him telling Sasuke to kill Naruto and not helping the injured Naruto. Back to real world. Inoichi, while still having his left hand on Kakashi, held his other hand out, Hokage-sama. Grab my hand, you must see this treachery. Inoichi yelled. Tsunade nodded and grabbed Inoichi's hand. Kakashi's mind. Tsunade began watching all of the memories, and in doing so became increasingly saddened and angry. When she watched the video of Naruto getting killed, she exploded. End Mindscape. As soon as Inoichi let go of Kakashi's head, Tsunade crashed a fist into the side of his face, shattering his jaw instantly. You bastard! She screamed as she picked him up and started to throttle him. How dare you treat our hero like that? Boot HWES a demon. Kakashi said through his broken jaw. How dare you? Tsunade screamed as she ed her fist back, ready to hit Kakashi again until a yell of, stop, pierced the air. Tsunade and the crowd looked to see Danzo, and the members of the council that supported the demon bigotry. Danzo, what are you doing? Tsunade asked. I will not let you hurt the hero of this village any further, Danzo stated. He's no hero. He caused the death of Naruto. Inoichi yelled. Watch your place Yamanaka. You don't have the right to speak against the council, Koharu stated. The hell I don't. Inoichi defiantly bellowed. As for Kakashi, he will be regarded as a hero for training the Uchiha heir, and the Uchiha will be declared a hero for killing the demon. Now where is Jiraiya? We must tell him he needs to train the Uchiha heir, Danzo replied. He's gone. Kakashi told him he had to train Sasuke by council ruling, so he left, Tsunade stated to the shocked faces of the council. Valley of the End with Naruto. Naruto roared an unholy roar that sounded like a mix of his voice and the Kyuubi. A tower of blue, black, and red chakra blasted up out of the water and into the sky, thus causing a massive blast of power that could be felt around all the great nations. The goblins were blown backwards straight into the trees from the force of the blast. The goblins got back up and saw Naruto glowing. When the light receded, the goblins were awestruck. He was now more muscular built, not Arnold Schwarzenegger buff, but average. He also now stood at 6 feet 0. His clothes ripped completely and his headband ripped off his head, letting his now longer hair down that went down to his neck. His human ears were gone, replaced by pointed blonde fox ears on the top of his head. His once caring blue eyes were now hate-filled red slitted eyes, his canines sharpened to a dangerous point, his hair now had red highlights and tips. His fingernails and toenails grew sharp and pointed. He also had 9 golden fox tails swaying behind him. He smirked evilly as the goblins cheered. "My brothers and sisters, welcome our new overlord," the gray goblin yelled to the group, who quickly started to cheer and whistle. The goblin turned to Naruto. "Come, my master, we must get you to your castle," the goblin said. "Andur?" Naruto asked in his new deeper and mature voice, which stunned him, but he quickly snapped out of his stupor when the goblin started talking again. "Ah, my name is Gnarl, sire, and I have been the advisor for every overlord through time," Gnarl responded. "Now come, we have much to do," Gnarl said as he led Naruto to a portal. Gnarl went in first, then Naruto, followed by the goblins. Back in Konoha, Tsunade, Inoichi and several of the genin were arguing with Danzo over Naruto. "Sasuke will be put on trial for murdering a leaf nin," Tsunade shouted. "Absolutely not. We need the Uchi," Danzo started, until he and the entire village felt the insane wave of power and heard the most earth-shaking roar they had ever heard. Everyone froze in fear as the roar pierced the air. Even the stone-cold Gaara felt his spine crawl as he heard the roar, and when the beam of pure chakra pierced the sky, everyone stared in awe and fear. The beam eventually faded away and Tsunade was the first to break out of the shock. "Everyone prepare for war. The Kyuubi has been released and now nothing can stop him," she shouted as everyone ran around in a panic. Tsunade faced the council and Kakashi, who were in complete shock, and said, "I hope you're proud. You've brought the end of days because you couldn't discard your hatred. Luckily I won't be paying for your mistakes." What do you mean?" Kaharu yelled. "Shizune and I are evacuating. We're not going to die because of your ignorance," she said before shushing away. As they watched everyone rush around panicked, with the roar and power wave fresh in their mind, they had one thought. "What have we done? Konoha Forest. I'm alive. Let me try to goddamn, that hurt. That bitch. And that pineapple kid for doing this to me." Tayuya screamed as she tried to get herself uncrushed by the trees. She finally passed out from pain. Naruto was teleported to a mysterious tower. "Where are we?" Naruto asked. "We are in a castle on the border of the Fire Country, sire, near the Water Country. Now there is no time to spare, we must hurry," Gnarl said as he darted to a wooden door. "What is so important?" Naruto asked. "Your training," Gnarl responded as he opened the door. "There's the first chapter. Hope you like. Also, the confirmed people in the harem will be." Demon thought. Gnarl opened a wooden door to show a large dungeon-like room. "Here is where we shall pick up your new clothing and weaponry, sire," Gnarl said as he walked into the room. Naruto followed and saw the brick walls were lined with different armors and weapons. He felt a suit of samurai armor with a helmet above it when he came up to it and saw it was made of black steel of the finest quality. Gnarl saw Naruto eyeing the armor and smirked. Armor fit only for a overlord, sire, do you like it?" Gnarl asked. "Very much so, Gnarl," Naruto said as he picked the armor up. "Could I have some privacy to change?" Naruto asked. "Certainly, sire," Gnarl answered as he left the room. 15 minutes later, Naruto emerged from the room in his new clothing. He was clad in the black samurai armor, a black robe with a red shoulder and neck area over the armor, a spiked helmet on his head, masking the upper half of his face in shadow, his glowing red eyes being the only thing visible of his upper face, though his mouth and whiskers were still visible. He had black steel gauntlets and black steel-toed boots to match. His pants consisted of black steel plating over black leather pants. "Very nice, sire. Very nice, truly terrifying," Gnarl said as he watched Naruto leave the room. As Naruto was about to say something, he heard a screech and, "I'll swallow your soul." followed by a terrified scream from the minions. Sire, we must get you a weapon, you must help us fight off a witch that won't stop bothering us. You will find a sword in the room, I must go defend the minions. Gnarl shouted as he ran out of the room. Naruto looked on the wall to see a sword, a giant mace, and a scythe. Naruto grabbed the sword and looked it over. It had a black and gold handle with a red gem in the middle, the blade was made of shined steel. He took it and ran to the room where he saw Gnarl fire a fireball at the witch. Ha ha ha, you can't beat me, she said as she got closer to Gnarl and the other minions. Yo she bitch, let's go, Naruto called out to the witch, who screeched in response and charged Naruto. Naruto jumped over the witch, surprising both the goblins and the witch that he could be so agile with that much armor and weight on him. In the blink of an eye, Naruto slashed several times at the witch, causing her to be nothing more than a head and green blood covering the floor, walls, and Naruto's armor. Hey, I'll swallow your soul, I'll swallow your soul, the head yelled to the irritated Naruto. Swallow this, Naruto growled as he drove the sword into the demon's head, causing it to scream one final time before dying. The goblins cheered at the spectacle and Gnarl walked up to Naruto. Well done, sire. Now that that witch is gone, shall we begin your training? He asked. Yes, Naruto said. Very well, sire. Follow me, Gnarl said as he led him to a new huge room that was about 4 football fields long, filled with target dummies and several other training devices. First, sire, we shall test your elemental affinity, Gnarl said as he took a piece of paper out. Back in Konoha, the village was in complete chaos. No one would leave their house, too afraid of the Kyuubi coming back. To make things worse, Danzo stepped up as Hokage after Tsunade left and issued martial law. Anyone who defied him was killed. The citizens learned this the hard way when Tsuki Aikikaru and Asuma Sarutobi were beheaded in the center of the village for being a demon lover, and Ayame Aikikaru, the daughter of Tsuki, was kicked out of the village for apparently having feelings for the demon. Hokage's office. Kurenai, Anko, and Hana Inuzuka were called into the office for a mission. What do you want, Danzo? Kurenai asked with anger in her voice. Now Kurenai, do call me by my proper title, lest you become like that filthy demon lover you called a lover, Danzo said with a smirk, knowing that would anger her. Kurenai growled but calmed down. Hi Hokage-sama, what would you like us to do? She asked. There has been a lot of activity lately at a tower just outside the Fire Country's border. In the Water Country, find the source of the activity and deal with it, Danzo said as he handed the group a folder with a picture of the tower. Very well, Anko said as she and the 2 other ladies left the office. Back at Naruto's tower, Gnarl held the paper out to Naruto. This paper will tell you what affinity you have. You focus your energy into it and if it crumples, your affinity is lightning, if it cuts in half, you will have wind, if it burns, it's fire, if it gets wet, you have water, and if you have earth, it will turn to dust, Gnarl explained. Very well, Naruto replied as he grabbed the paper and concentrated chakra into it. The paper crumpled, burst into flames, became wet, cut in half, and turned into dust. Incredible, sire. You are the one from the prophecy. Gnarl shouted excited. The what? Naruto asked as Gnarl walked to a wall with an inscription. There is a prophecy that states, though many overlords, from coast to coast will try, but they will never accomplish their goal of world domination. However, there will be one, who through deception will be cut down in his prime. However, a overlord from past times will empower this boy and he will become the greatest overlord ever, one who can command the elements and bend the concept of life and death to his will and want. This overlord will have wives across the land who all love him and he loves them back. And through alliance of dark forces, the overlord will succeed in his plan of revenge and domination. Gnarl read as Naruto listened shocked and intently. So according to the prophecy, I'm going to be in a harem relationship. And I'm the commander of all elements and I can bend life and death to my will. Naruto asked. Indeed, master. You will be the greatest overlord of all time, Gnarl said. Hey kid, Kyuubi asked. Yeah, Kyuubi. Naruto asked. I'm going to give you a special gift I had during my exploits as the Overlord, Kyuubi said as Naruto's eyes started bleeding. It will only hurt for a moment, he finished as Naruto started screaming and fell to the floor. Sire. What's the matter? Gnarl shouted, rushing to Naruto's side. Ah, it burns. Naruto screamed as he writhed in pain. Suddenly though, the pain stopped. Naruto opened his eyes and saw only in blurriness. That's when he heard a gasp from Gnarl. Sire. Your eyes. Gnarl exclaimed. Naruto rubbed his eyes and looked in a mirror. When the blurriness went away, he gasped in amazement. In place of his evil red eyes were two equally different evil eyes. One eye was back with red spirals big at the edges, but got smaller as they approached the center of the eye. The other eye was black with a red atom symbol in place of the iris. Kyuubi. What did you do to me? Naruto screamed. I simply gave you the gift of a god, Naruto. In one eye you hold the Rinnegan, the ultimate dojutsu, once held by the Rakudo Sennin, sage of the six paths. And in the other eye, the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, a dojutsu that can be obtained only by ripping the eyes from another Uchiha. I decided to give you this dojutsu because I was the one who created it. We demons were the one responsible for the creation of the dojutsus, and when we finished giving certain people the power, we were attacked and hated, because our purpose was served, Kyuubi explained. I'm sorry, Kyuubi, Naruto said. Think nothing of it, kid. As I said, this is a gift, to help you exact your revenge against the same village that shunned me and my kind, Kyuubi stated. Yeah, let's do it, Naruto said. Sire. Are you okay? Gnarl asked. Naruto grabbed a towel and wiped the blood tears off his face. Yeah, I'm fine, Gnarl. Now, shall we continue? He asked. Now, we have several scrolls here of many different jutsus as you shinobi call them and different kinds of spells. Take as much time as you need to master them. I shall be back later, Gnarl said before leaving the room. Naruto looked through the scrolls and decided to do the fire scrolls first. Okay, we'll start off at the basics. Hey kid. Yeah, Kyuubi. First of all, stop calling me Kyuubi. Call me by my real name, Uryu, he said. Okay. Naruto responded. And second of all, use your Kage Bushin to increase your learning ability, Uryu said. What do you mean, Uryu? Naruto asked. I mean, that Kage Bushins absorb the knowledge of the activities they do, meaning, if you create 1,000 clones, you will master the technique in 1,000th of the time it would normally take, Uryu explained. Ah, that makes sense. Kage Bushin no Jutsu. Naruto said as 1,250 clones poofed Ino existence. Okay, listen up. I'm assigning 250 clones to each element. 250 for fire, 250 for water, 250 for lightning, 250 for earth, and 250 for the necromancing and summoning. Go. He commanded as the clones obeyed and started grabbing all of the scrolls and opening them, quickly scanning them and doing the jutsus. Several cries of Kaden, Futon, Sweden, and Doden were heard for several hours. After 14 hours had passed, Gnarl entered the room to see it terribly burned, wet and soggy, and filled with dirt. He looked to see a panting Naruto in the middle of the room. He walked up to him. I've assumed you've mastered everything we had, master. Gnarl asked. Hi. I did. What's the next step? Naruto asked. Very well. Follow me. We still need to introduce you to your minions, Gnarl explained as he walked out the door to a small room filled with the different goblins, some brown, some green, some red, and some blue. Does it make a difference? Naruto asked. Oh, the most, sire. The browns are used as the infantry, the soldiers, the reds are immune to fire and can be used as long-ranged attackers due to their ability to produce fireballs, the greens can turn invisible and can sneak up on enemies and kill them silently, thus giving us a tactical edge, and the blues are the only ones who can travel in and breathe in water, giving us another tactical edge, not only that, but they can heal the fallen minions. So as you can see, sire, they have varied pros and cons depending on the situation, Gnarl explained. Yes, I see, Naruto answered. Well, our training nearly complete, now we work on the combat training, Gnarl said as another goblin came out with a stick and a jester hat. Our jester has generously offered his body as target practice, Gnarl said. Heh heh, what that armor supposed to be made of? Mud. The jester asked with a cackle, hooey. That mug certainly isn't the most pleasant I've seen. I bet even pigs would have a heart attack from the sight of it, oof. The jester said before being put into a death grip around the throat by Naruto, whose eye was twitching with rage. What am I supposed to do? Naruto asked through gritting teeth. 100 slashes up, down, left to right to left, spins, northwest to southeast, and northeast to southwest, Gnarl explained. Goody. Naruto said with sadistic glee as he threw the jester into the training room and locked the door. For the next 8 hours there were several shouts of, no. Ah. Hellpp. From the jester and, hold still you sly. From multiple voices of Naruto, signifying he used the cage bushin. 8 hours later the jester was thrown from the room bloody and beaten. Naruto emerged from the room next. You were saying? He asked. My apologies for insulting your beautiful face, sire, the jester groaned. Good, Naruto said with a smile as he walked over to Gnarl. Anything else? He asked. No, sire, that is everything, now we can begin restoring the tower, Gnarl said. Okay, how should we start? Naruto asked. First we should recover the tower heart, it will allow us to travel all around the world, and will make it easier for minions to transport things to the castle, Gnarl explained. Very well, where was it last spotted? Naruto asked. I believe it was spotted in a town to the northwest, it was named Nostratanta if I remember correctly, Gnarl stated. Ooh, let's burn the town down. To show the world the mighty Overlord has returned. One of the brown minions shouted as the others cheered. I like that idea, let's do it. Naruto shouted as the minions cheered. With the girls, the three decided to stay at a hotel due to the fact that it was now dark. Anko walked up to the front desk. Hi, 3 rooms for the night please, she asked. Oh, I'm terribly sorry, we only have 2 rooms left. I'm afraid 2 of you will have to sleep in the same room, the clerk said. Oh, alright, we'll take 2 rooms please, Anko replied. Alright, the clerk said as she pushed the sign-in book to the group. Write your names please. Anko wrote her name first, then Kurenai, then Hana. The clerk took the book and looked it over, she then picked up 2 keys. Okay, here you are, please enjoy your stay, the clerk said as she handed them the keys. Hey Kurenai, you okay with sharing a room? Anko asked. Sure, Kurenai said. Okay, I guess we'll see you tomorrow, Hana, Anko said as she walked up to her room, Kurenai following. Okay, good night, Hana said as she went to her own room. The outskirts of Nostratanta. Sire, is this the place? One of the Browns asked Naruto, who was gazing at the town. It was a perfect little town, happy people, beautiful buildings, a peaceful little town. I do believe so peaceful, let's change that. Greens, sneak into the town and remove the guards. Reds, stay at a distance and set the town ablaze and give the Browns fire support. Browns, slaughter everyone who gets in the way and secure the tower heart. Blues, heal any of the others who get injured. Let's do it. Naruto commanded as the minions cheered. The greens leapt onto the roofs and waited for the guards to come by. As several guards came around the corner, the greens cancelled their invisibility and leapt onto the guards, plunging their knives into some necks and snapping the others' necks. As the villagers started screaming in a panic, the Browns charged into the village, some blues behind them as the Reds produced fireballs and hurled them onto the hay roofs of the buildings, quickly sending them ablaze. As everyone was being slaughtered like pigs by the Browns, or being burned alive by the Reds, Naruto couldn't help but have a sickeningly evil smile plastered on his face. This was but a small step in his quest for dominance. The smile faded though when a severely burned man crawled to his feet. Please, have mercy, the man asked as he extended his hand to Naruto's boot, only to have it kicked away. Naruto crouched down to the man and in a voice that would chill even Orochimaru's bones, he said, "Sorry," all out of mercy, before grabbing the man's head and snapping his neck. He got back up and noticed the Browns carrying a large green glowing ball, and the Reds carrying several large boxes filled with armor and weapons. "Sire, we found the town heart, and weapons and armor for us," a Red said. "Excellent work. Let's get back to the tower," Naruto said as he began walking back to the tower, leaving the rest of his humanity to burn with the city. Back in Konoha, Sakura was just sitting in her bedroom. If you looked at her eyes, it was abundantly clear she had cried because they were bloodshot and puffy. She held an envelope in her hand with the words, "For Naruto," scrawled on it. She and Ino had wrote their true feelings on the paper and now they couldn't show him because they were told Naruto was killed. Flashback. Sakura and Ino had heard that the Sasuke retrieval mission was successful, and they ran to the gate as fast as they could to find Naruto. They ran to the crowd. "Where's Naruto?" they heard Tsunade ask with worry in her voice. "I'm terribly sorry, Hokage-sama, but by the time I had reached Naruto, it was too late. Sasuke had murdered him, and I managed to subdue him while he started at Naruto's corpse," they heard Kakashi say. They inaudibly gasped, and Naruto was dead. They thought to themselves, they were about to run away when they heard, "I smell blood on you. Uzumaki's, some on your feet, and splatters on your chest," a voice they recognized as Sabaku no Gaara. They turned around and looked to see what was going to happen next. "What are you talking about, Gaara?" another voice said. They looked to see his brother, Kankuro, looking at Gaara. "I'm saying that this man, Naruto's sensei, killed him," Gaara stated. And so they watched the fiasco that happened next, Kakashi trying to escape but was stopped, and his mind was searched. When they saw Tsunade punch Kakashi, they knew he did it. And when she was about to finish him off, the council interfered. Ino became enraged when they started talking down to her father. How dare they? And just when the two were going to slap the council around, they heard the roar. The villagers became panicked and the two took this time to run back to their homes, tears running down their faces. Sakura's home. Sakura threw the door open and ran in, slamming the door behind her. She threw herself onto her bed and started crying because she had lost the chance to tell the boy who saved her life more than anything else, how she truly felt, how she loved him, how she wanted to grow old with him, how she wanted to be with him through the good and the bad. She had lost the chance to love Naruto Uzumaki. Ino's house. Ino just stared at a picture of when Naruto, Ino, and Sakura as kids. She smiled as tears welled up in her eyes as she looked at the picture. It had Naruto kissing Ino on the cheek, who was blushing while Sakura giggled next to the two. She put the photo away and fell asleep, dreaming of a future that would never happen, a future where Sakura and Ino were the mothers of the children of the greatest Hokage ever, Naruto Uzumaki. End flashback. Near the castle, Ayame limped along a trail. She was bloody and beaten by the crowd of Konoha. She managed to escape, but not before a ninja threw two kunais at her, one slashing along her head letting her hair down, and the other slashed along her shirt, letting out her beautiful perky DS and her medium-sized brown nipples, erect from the cold wind hitting them. The men started hooting and whistling at her as she ran away. She had been walking all day and when she saw the castle up ahead, she smiled weakly before passing out from fatigue. Also Tayuya was limping along the same path. She managed to escape except for one leg, which was so badly damaged that she had to amputate it. Her flute was also destroyed, smashed to pieces by a tree. She made it about halfway on the path until she too passed out. A little way down the path, Naruto and the minions were going down the path and saw Tayuya face down. Sire. Look, a woman, one of the unoccupied Browns said. Naruto walked up to Tayuya and turned her around. He smirked. What shall we do, sire? Kill her? Rape her? The minions asked as they started drooling on Tayuya. No. We shall bring her back. I have much use of this woman, Naruto said as several Browns groaned before hoisting Tayuya up onto their backs. They continued down the path until they saw Ayame. Naruto immediately noticed her because of the kimono. He ran to her as fast as he could. Ayame. He yelled as he grabbed her and felt her pulse. She's still alive. Get her to the tower. Blues. Get over here and help. He ordered as several Blues scampered over and picked up Ayame, healing her as they ran to the tower. 20 minutes later, Naruto and the minions arrived at the tower. As the Browns were helped by Gnarl in installing the heart, Naruto helped the Blues get Tayuya and Ayame into beds. Sire, we did the best we could, but we couldn't save the red one's leg, a Blue said to Naruto. No trouble, I know a spell. Clatunus graffata lolenta macamba. That is just random gibbering I thought of in spirit of the Evil Dead series, but it means, let this tortured one's wounds heal, and limbs be repaired. Naruto chanted in a language the goblin didn't know, and within an instant, Tayuya's leg repaired. The Blue was in total awe. Well done, sire. He exclaimed. Thank you. Now, can you try to find some clothes in that chest for women? They need new clothes, he said as he moved his head in the direction of the two girls. Right. I shall look, sire, the Blue said as he left the room. Minutes later he came back with two nightgowns that went down to the knees, but in different colors, one white, one black, and two pairs of panties, one white and one black. Naruto nodded and took the gowns and set them on the bed. He grabbed Ayame's kimono right under her S and was about to pull it down, until he heard giggling behind him. He looked to see a small group of minions staring, giggling, and drooling. He went up to the door and closed and locked it. He heard, ah. S and then footsteps. When they went away he walked back up to the girls and grabbed Ayame's kimono. He undid the sash and opened it up, revealing her lean stomach and her white panties. He slid the panties down to her legs, showing the few brown pubic hairs on her vagina. He stopped staring at her and slid the panties of her leg and put them on top of her kimono. He grabbed the fresh pair of panties and slid them onto her legs, giving her light butterfly kisses on her leg and stomach as he did so, unable to resist her tasty flesh any further. He then grabbed the nightgown and slid it over her head, and then onto her body. After he dressed her, he placed her in the bed, tucked her in and gave her a kiss on the lips. He then moved to Tayuya, undoing her purple sash, and sliding her shirt and slightly ripped pants off, showing her creamy pale skin, her perfectly rounded CS, small pink nipples erect from the cold air, and her pair of red panties. Naruto slid her panties off, her leg and foot as he went down, getting a moan from Tayuya. He stared at her, not a single pubic hair, it was as if he was mesmerized by it. He shook his head to clear his train of thought. Later, but not now, he thought as he noticed the rock-hard bulge in his pants go away. He slid the black panties onto her, kissing her stomach as he came up to it. He grabbed the black nightgown and slid it over her head, and then onto her body. He picked her up bridal style and placed Ner in the bed next to Ayame, tucking her in her ear, causing Tayuya to giggle. He sighed in relief as he took the pile of clothes out of the room. He walked to the main courtyard where the town heart was to find Gnarl gazing at the town heart. Hey Gnarl, Naruto asked the goblin who broke out of his stupor. Oh, my apologies, sire. I was entranced by the marvel of the heart. Now what do you need? He said. Do you know any of the minions who can sew? Naruto asked as he showed the girl's destroyed clothing. I do. Giblet. Gnarl shouted. A new brown minion came scampering into the room. Yes, sire. He asked. Giblet, could you repair these clothes for the Overlord? Gnarl asked. Oh yes. Anything for the master. Giblet exclaimed as he took the pile of clothing and ran off with it. It shall be done soon, sire, Gnarl said. Very well, Naruto said before noticing people's presence. He looked out a gaping hole in the wall to see 3 women and 3 dogs. Inuzuka, judging from the clothing and non-feral appearance, I'm judging that's Hana, and then there's Anko, I can spot her from a mile away with that figure, and then there's Kurenai-sensei, Naruto thought to himself. When he saw them look up towards him, he darted out of sight, Gnarl doing the same. What is it, sire? Gnarl whispered. Fresh material for my harem. Here's what I need you to do. Naruto whispered into Gnarl's ear. Gnarl listened intently to the plan that was whispered to him and he chuckled. Excellent, sire. I will have the minions ready for anything, Gnarl said as he scampered off to inform the minions of their overlord's plan. With the girls, Anko spotted someone darting out of sight when she looked up. Hey, I saw someone up there. She exclaimed to the 2 others. Let's go in, Kurenai said as the 3 rushed to the door. Little did they know what would await them when they opened that door. Tsunami, Kamina, Rank, Fugai, Fuka, Tsubaki, Kurenai, Anko, and Hana barged into the tower, to find it abandoned, though in actuality, all of the minions were hiding in certain parts of the castle. Okay boys, scatter, if you find anything suspicious call me. Hana commanded to her 3 gray dogs. The dogs nodded and raced off. As the dogs looked on the ground floor, the 3 girls went upstairs. Upstairs, Hana walked around with a kunai drawn, trudging slowly. Little did she know that a blonde-haired overlord was up in the rafters above patiently waiting for the opportune time, his eyes glowing eerily as he followed the young woman's movement with them. With Anko opened a door, kunai drawn and looked around the room. When she lowered her guard after finding nothing, the door closed behind her. She jumped and stepped back slightly in fright, and she bumped into another Naruto who smirked as his Sharingan spun around. She looked him straight into the eyes and her eyes widened in fear before passing out. Naruto caught her before placing her on a large heart bed in the middle of the room, Tayuya and Ayame on the bed as well. 1 down, 2 to go, he said as he sat down on the floor, waiting for his other sides to gather the rest. With Kurenai was walking through the halls when she saw a swirl of leaves go around her. What the? She said. A 3rd Naruto was in the rafters, his Sharingan eye spinning. Megan, Narakumi no Jutsu, demonic illusion, hell viewing technique, he whispered. Suddenly Kurenai saw an image of Anko, lying on the floor dead and bloody, with kunais embedded in her body. She gasped in horror. This has to be an illusion. She said as she put her hands in the ram sign. Kai. Release. Kai. She said, but to no avail. She put her hand on her mouth in shock, passing out in terror seconds later. The 3rd Naruto jumped down off the rafters and next to Kurenai, the illusion of Anko fading away. He grabbed her and took her into the room with Anko. 2 down, 1 to go, the 2 Narutos in the room said as the 3rd sat down next to the 2nd. With Hana noticed Kurenai and Anko were missing, and she became a little terrified. Obviously she was dealing with an incredibly skilled ninja. Suddenly everything went dark. The 1st Naruto had his hands in the tiger sign, Kokuangyo no Jutsu, bringer of darkness technique, he whispered as the room was cast into darkness. Hana put her kunai up, ready for anything. Naruto kept his hands in the tiger seal and as Hana wandered around, Naruto whispered, Nihon Shoujo no Jutsu, Temple of Nirvana technique, as feathers filled the air. Hana suddenly felt sleepy. She wobbled around, trying to stay balanced, but she soon fell to the floor, falling asleep. Naruto cancelled the jutsu and lifted Hana over his shoulder, her soft S pressed into his back. He placed her on the bed with the other girls. Mission complete, said the 3 Narutos before they started clutching their eyes in pain as blood seeped from their eyes. When the 1st Naruto opened his eyes and cleaned the blood out of his eyes, he saw both his eyes and was amazed. They had the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and the Rinnegan. His eyes had changed into a black six-pronged shuriken shape with black S-preels in the whites of his eyes. He smirked and started to chuckle evilly. "Oh Sasuke, just wait until we meet again and you see my eyes. It'll be the end of you," he growled as he heard movement on the bed. He turned to see Ayame stir. She yawned and opened her eyes. Downstairs, the dogs were sniffing around, looking for anything they could find to help their master. 3 greens were hanging on the roof with syringes in their hands. "Banzai!" The greens yelled as they jumped on the dogs and stuck them with the syringes. "Ari!" The dogs whined in pain as they fell to the ground, knocked out. "Hey, it worked," one of the greens said. "Yes, I never doubted the master," one of the other greens said. Back with Naruto, Ayame yawned and opened her eyes, seeing a man with, she gasped and backed against the wall. "Who are you?" she asked with fear evident in her voice. "Ayame, it's me," Naruto said to her, forgetting his voice changed. I don't know you," she said in a higher voice, this man terrifying her to near hysteria. "Yes you do," Naruto replied as he grabbed his helmet. He slid it off his head, showing his face. Ayame's eyes widened in shock. "And Naruto-kun?" she asked as she walked up to him and touched his face, feeling his whiskers to make sure he was real. "Hi, it's me Ayame-chan," Naruto said with his trademark foxy grin, confirming Ayame's belief. "Oh Naruto-kun," she yelled as she enveloped him into a hug. She started to sob on his shoulder. It's been so terrible at the village without you. They killed my dad and Asuma-san for being demon lovers and they beat me and banished me from the village," Ayame explained to a now enraged Naruto. "What? How dare they? Why did they banish you?" Naruto asked. Ayame froze and blushed. Should she tell him? Well, everyone knew I loved you, so they banished me," she stuttered. Naruto's eyes widened. "Why you love me?" he asked with a blush. Ayame nodded. And I got you banished from the village?" he asked. Ayame nodded again. "And you're happy? Why?" he asked again. "Because, now I can properly show you how much I love you," she said, a stuttering voice, but it had a hint of seductiveness as she grabbed Naruto's head and locked lips with him. Naruto grabbed Ayame's hair, stroking it as he kissed her deeply, sticking his tongue in her mouth and tasting every corner of it. Ayame fought Naruto's tongue with great force, swirling with it and massaging it. As she kissed Naruto, she grabbed his gauntlets and slid them off. Naruto got the picture and broke the kiss, much to Ayame's irritation, which was quickly turned to pleasure as he pulled the arm straps down on her nightgown and pulling it down, revealing her S again. Naruto licked his lips before putting his lips on her right nipple and started to hungrily lick it, getting a moan from Ayame as she stroked his fox ears, getting a slight purr from Naruto. Naruto took his mouth off her nipple and started to lick her left, using his hand to pinch her other nipple. Ayame moaned again as Naruto moved his fingers down under her nightgown into her panties, rubbing his fingers up and down her slit. Ayame groaned in pleasure as she slipped her hands into Naruto's pants and started moving her hand up and down his shaft, causing him to bite down on her nipple, forcing her S to lactate and causing her to yell out not in pain, but in pleasure. She gasped as she felt Naruto drink her milk, licking her with great intensity. Tayuya heard the commotion and woke up. Seeing the two, she blushed slightly. "What the is going on?" she yelled. Naruto heard her and stopped drinking Ayame's milk, standing up as he wiped the milk off the side of his face. "Good morning Tayuya-chan, would you like to join us?" he asked as he got close to her face with a sly smile on his face when he noticed she was blushing like a tomato. "And no, why would I want to sleep with a nut like you?" she said as Ayame sneaked behind her. "The of epic proportion begins from here. Ah, come on Tayuya-chan, was it? Let loose a bit." Ayame growled in a voice into her ear as she lowered Tayuya's arm straps, causing the nightgown to fall to her feet. Tayuya gasped in surprise as her body was revealed to the two. She tried to cover her S, but Ayame smacked her arm away and started to her right, holding her arms against the wall while doing so. Yuya moaned in delight until she felt her panties being moved. She looked down past Ayame to see Naruto removing her panties. Please, no, she whimpered. She didn't want to lose her virginity like this and she started to struggle. Naruto held tightly to her legs to prevent Yuya from struggling too much. He became irritated after her leg hit him in the face, so he pulled on Yuya's legs as she struggled, causing her and Ayame to fall to the ground. Naruto took the chance to spread Yuya's legs and he plunged his face into her womanhood. She gasped before squirming around, trying to detach Naruto's face from her crotch, but as he s his tongue into her, she felt an extreme sense of pleasure. She moaned in pleasure as he started to on her pearl and pumped 2 fingers in and out of her. He continued this for several minutes until Yuya felt a great pressure build in her. Ah, oh, good! Exclamation mark. I'm gonna come. She shouted loud enough to wake the 3 others in the room as she shivered in ecstasy, her juices flowing into Naruto's waiting mouth. What the hell? Anko shouted as she got up and pulled a kunai out as Naruto continued eating Yuya out. He saw the 3 awake and kissed Yuya's once more before getting up, wiping the juices off his face. Hello girls, how was your nap? He asked with a smile. Kurenai instantly noticed the boy by the whiskers and blonde hair. Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki? She asked. In the flesh, Naruto stated. What happened to you? We thought you were dead. She asked as she stepped closer, only to be intercepted by the other 2 Narutos. Oh please, it takes more than a puny little Uchiha to kill me. Oh, and if you're wondering about my new look, it's simply, I grew up. He said as he snapped his fingers. In an instant 5 more Narutos swarmed into the room, tackling Kurenai, Anko, and Hana to the ground. Let us go, Hana yelled. Not a chance, one of the clones said as he grabbed Hana's shirt and opened it, revealing her Pink's nipples perking up from the clone's hot breath on it. Hana gasped as the clone tried to put his lips on her nipple. She grabbed his head and struggled to keep his mouth away from her. He quickly pinched her left nipple, causing her to yelp and lose her grip, sending the clone's mouth onto her nipple. He took no hesitation in ling her. She squirmed around and thrashed as he tore her panties to shreds with his claw. Unlike the normal Naruto, this clone was horny and wanted as soon as he could get it. He dropped his pants, revealing his 9-inch. Before she could react, he drove his into her. She screamed in pain as he grabbed her body and led her, continuing to pump himself in and out of her, using her blood from her broken hymen as lubricant to go faster. She could only start to breathe heavily and wrap her arms around his body as her pain turned to pleasure. And as these 2 were enjoying themselves, the other groups were well at it as well. One of the clones was sticking his into Kurenai's mouth, who began ing on it, swirling her tongue around it and moving her hand up and down. As she was distracted by the blowjob, 3 more horny clones came over, and using their claws, they tore her clothes off, leaving her in a red thong and letting her CS out. 2 of the clones clamped onto her S and led her, while the 3rd one lied on the floor, back to the ground and slid under her slid up and down as he held onto her firm ass. Kurenai moaned loudly and started thrusting her hips to the rhythm of the clone's licks. Meanwhile, the real Naruto threw Ayame onto the bed, kissing her deeply. As he was about to take off her panties, leaving her completely, he felt a tug on both of his pant legs. He looked behind him to see Yuya and a now trench coatless Anko clinging to him. They had big puppy dog-like eyes as their lip quivered. He smiled idly as he picked them both up at the same time and tossed them onto the bed. As he kissed Anko and started to take off her fishnet suit, he saw from the corner of his eyes that Yuya was kissing Ayame deeply, pancaked together as she started to peel off her panties. Naruto tossed the fishnet suit aside, and the girls watched intently as he took his shirt off, showing his well-ripped chest complete with 6-pack. And he pulled his pants down, showing his. The 3 girls smiled at him as he climbed onto the bed on his back. Ayame crawled onto his chest and positioned her face near his manhood, shaking her in his face to entice him. He pressed his face into her and started to lick her. She moaned before starting to lick the head of his manhood. Anko started to lick the side of his manhood while sticking 2 fingers into Tayuya's and pumped them in and out. Tayuya licked the other side of his while also pumping fingers into Anko. This continued for another 4 minutes, until Ayame yelped out and screamed in pleasure as she came into Naruto's mouth. Naruto's cry of pleasure was muffled by Ayame as his white seed came shooting out of his, covering Ayame, Anko, and Tayuya's faces in his sperm. The 3 giggled as they licked it off them. "Oh Naruto-kun, you got your cum on our faces," Tayuya whined sarcastically, as she wiped some of it off her face with her finger and licked it up. "Yeah, I think you should be properly punished," Anko growled in a way as she switched spots with Ayame and sat on his face, his mouth on her. "Lick me Naruto-kun. Come on lick me," Anko said as Naruto stuck his tongue into her. She moaned as he stuck it deeper into her. Oh yeah," Anko said with a shiver. "Well don't hog him all to yourself," Tayuya growled as she positioned herself at his. She lowered herself onto his too quickly, ramming it straight into her hymen and breaking it, causing her to scream out in pain. She sat there whimpering, tears threatening to come out as her blood oozed out of her and onto Naruto's. After giving a deep breath outwards, she started moving up and down, moaning as she started to move faster and faster. After several minutes Anko and Tayuya felt pressure building in them. "Ah, I'm gonna cum," Anko screamed as her juices sprayed into Naruto's mouth. "Ooh," Tayuya screamed as she came on Naruto's. After a few more thrusts he finally came, his seed pouring into her. She panted for a few seconds before getting off his and falling onto the bed. "Ah," Hannah screamed as the clone came into her the same time she came. The clone poofing away as she collapsed to the floor exhausted. MMPHF. Kurenai moaned as she came at the same time the Naruto she was giving the blowjob to and the one plowing into her with his did. Squirting his hot semen into her mouth and into her womb. She fell to the ground as the 2 clones ling her took themselves away from her nipples, poofing away with the other 2 clones. "And now you Anko-chan," Naruto said as he plunged his into her. She moaned as he thrust into her harder and harder. She grabbed his head and pulled it to her on. "Let me Naruto. Ah, let me like a baby," she screamed as he started to la her, biting down on her nipple and drinking up the milk that seeped out. He stopped ling her and pushed her down onto the bed, squeezing her right as he plowed into her harder and harder, the sound of flesh smacking together filling the air. She grabbed and squeezed the red bedsheets until her knuckles were white as a familiar pressure built in her. "Ah," Anko screamed in pure bliss as she came, Naruto coming seconds after her, shooting his hot seed into her waiting womb. After Naruto took himself out of her, he collapsed onto the bed. He was getting exhausted. He looked around the room and saw Hannah and Kurenai sleeping, cum all over their faces as they slept in each other's arms. He looked to see Tayuya and Anko in the same position, only their faces were cleaner, and Tayuya fell asleep with her face on Anko's s. He sighed as he fell back on the bed, only to have Ayame crawl up to him. "You forgot about me Naruto-kun," Ayame whined as she massaged his, which shot back up. "Ah, oh sorry Ayame-chan," he moaned as he grabbed her and positioned his at her entrance. He thrusted hard into her, breaking her hymen, sending a scream open of her mouth, which was quickly muffled by Naruto's tongue entering her mouth. He pumped himself in and out of her for several minutes, the 2 locked in a passionate kiss as they embraced each other. As he pumped into her one final time, the 2 felt a familiar pressure build in them. "Ah, Naruto-kun, I'm coming," Ayame yelled as her juices spurted onto Naruto's as he came into her. Ayame panted in pleasure and fatigue as she fell onto the bed, falling asleep. Naruto fell back onto the bed too, slowly but surely he fell asleep. End of epic proportions. Back in Konoha, Danzo was sitting in his office, contemplating how he would remove the demon taint from the village. And as he thought, a Anbu burst into the room. Hokage-sama. The Anbu yelled. What is it? I'm very busy. He yelled. The Konoha treasury has been raided. Almost half of the scrolls are missing. The Anbu yelled. What? How? Danzo yelled. How did anyone break into the vault? My Anbu squad was patrolling the area near the treasury for demon lovers when we heard an explosion, the Anbu stated. And? Danzo asked, curious of the answer. Well, we saw a group of 13 people in black cloaks with bags loaded with scrolls on their backs, and they fled. We pursued them, but we lost them in the forest. Gomen Hoka-ga came from the Anbu as a kunai was embedded into his chest. Courtesy of Danzo, the Anbu fell to the floor, clutching his chest. Then you did not serve the purpose you were given, and you need to die, Danzo growled as he kicked the kunai deeper, piercing his heart and killing him instantly. No matter. No one will leave my village without my permission, he said as the secretary came in and saw the dead body. Another one, Hokage-sama? She asked. Yes, send in Kakashi, he has a mission, Danzo commanded as the secretary nodded and left. In the forest outside Konoha, the cloaked figures were running through the forest, hopping from tree to tree. Where should we head? A female voice said from the front, the scrolls on her back clattering slightly as she jumped. There has been talk of a tower being suddenly restored in the water country. I suspect Uzumaki is there, a monotone male voice said from the middle of the group. Let's go then. The same female voice from the front said as the group picked up speed. Konoha. Kakashi entered Danzo's office after being called in. What is it, Hokage-sama? I was training Sasuke-sama when I got the call to come in, he said. Kakashi, we are sending you on a S-ranked mission. A small group of people have stole scrolls from the Konoha treasury and have fled the village with them, Danzo explained. Do we have any idea of what was stolen? Kakashi asked. Our Anbu are still taking inventory of what was stolen, Danzo asked. Do you want me to go alone? Or with my team? Kakashi asked. Kakashi, we cannot risk the Uchiha with that demon and Orochimaru running around out there. Take the rest of your team but not Sasuke, Danzo ordered. Hi, Hokage-sama, Kakashi replied with a nod as he left the office to gather his team. The next morning, Naruto woke up with a yawn. He shook his head of his sleepiness, and looked around him. All of the girls were still sleeping and he smiled as he kissed Ayame. He got up without the girls waking and started to get dressed. With the group of people. The group stood in front of the tower. I sense several chakra sources in the tower. One, massive, unlike anything my bugs have ever detected. Almost monstrous, the same monotone voice said with a hint of fear in his normally calm voice. Right. We should tread lightly, we don't want to raise hands up. A minion yelled, cutting off the voice from the front as a group of 50 minions, armed to the teeth, pointed their blades as the group turned around. One of the figures laughed. Are you kidding me? You're just midgets, he taunted. One of the minions growled before smacking the figure straight in the nuts with his wood club, causing the figure to clutch his privates and fall to the ground. Now move. The minions growled, the group following the minions, the figure in the front dragging the knocked-out figure of the one hit in the nuts. 5 minutes later, the group were dragged into the throne room, where Naruto was currently having a daring game of wits with Gnarl. Got any fours? Naruto asked with a handful of cards as he looked over to Gnarl, who also had a handful of cards. Go fish, sire, Gnarl stated as Naruto growled. He was about to say how boring the game was when the group of minions barged into the room with the group. My overlord, we caught several intruders outside. A minion said as he dragged one of the members by the hood. Leave us, he commanded. The minions nodded and left, cackling evilly. Naruto looked to Gnarl. Oh. Right, sire. Gnarl said as he left the room too. Naruto got up, glaring at the group as he walked towards them slowly, his face shadowed by the helmet. Who sent you? Naruto questioned. No one. We acted on our own will, the female leader stated. What village do you hail from? He asked. We all are former ninja of the village hidden in the leaves, the leader stated again, getting a unseen raised eyebrow from Naruto. Why former? He asked as he paced back and forth. We have stolen highly important and classified documents from the Konoha treasury, the monotone male voice said. Reveal yourselves. He commanded. The group nodded and all took their hoods off, and when Naruto looked at the group, his eyes widened. My name is Sakura Haruno, the leader stated. Rock Lee, another figure to her right said. Kiba Inuzuka, the figure whacked in the nuts said in a high-pitched voice. Shino Aburame, the monotone voice in the middle said. Shikamaru Nara, a uncaring voice in the group said. Tenten, Yugao Azuki, Ino Yamanaka, Tsubaki, Choji Akamaiki, Konohamaru, Yu Udon, Moegi, Uruka Yumino, Might Guy, the group said, all removing their hoods. Naruto's eyes widened. My friends, all of them, he thought. Looks like some of them actually care, Kit. Kyuubi said. Excuse me, Overlord Sama was it? Sakura said. Hi. Could you take that helmet off, and let us see your face? Sakura asked. Naruto sighed. I had a feeling it would come to this. Very well, he replied as he grabbed his helmet. He slowly started to slide it off his head and he heard audible gasps as the helmet dropped to the ground. A loud ting of the helmet meeting the concrete was the only thing that was heard in the room for several minutes as the group observed the new, feral-looking Naruto. Even Shino had a look of shock on his normally stoic face. Naruto? They asked. 10 miles east of the tower. I sense several sources of chakra, one massive, unlike I've ever seen, said none other than Neji Hyuga, his Byakugan blazing as he hopped from tree branch to tree branch. Alongside him was his squad of Kakashi Hatake, and a mysterious pale boy named Sai. Right, that must be the thieves' hideout, Kakashi stated as he hopped in front of Neji. Didn't a few kunoichi disappear on a mission investigating this tower? Sai asked in his monotone voice. PSSH, they were probably raped by bandits and made their slaves, Kakashi growled, wondering why his team was concentrating on anything other than the mission. They picked up speed as they started to close in on the tower. In Sound Country, a gray-haired young man wearing circular glasses walked into a dark room, the flame of a candle being the only light in the room. What is it, Kabuto? A frighteningly snake-like voice asked, the glow of the light revealing a man in a white robe, a small patch of pasty white skin and a sickly yellow cat-like eye being the only thing you could see of his bandaged face, other than his spiky gray hair. Forgive me, Orochimaru-sama, but Sasuke didn't make it here, he was recaptured before he could make it here, Kabuto explained to the now clearly angered man. What? Who? Orochimaru hissed, wanting to know who took his chance of ultimate power away. Well, Naruto Uzumaki engaged him in combat, but Kakashi Hatake interfered and had Sasuke kill Naruto, and Sasuke passed out after gaining his Mangekyo Sharingan. He was taken back to Konoha after Uzumaki was left for dead, Kabuto explained. So, Hatake betrayed the Kyuubi brat. And now Sasuke has the Mangekyo. Well, what a turn of events, Orochimaru said with a evil smile hidden by the bandages. What are you talking about, Orochimaru-sama? Kabuto asked, his eyebrow rose in confusion. Kabuto, you felt that wave of power, yes? Orochimaru asked. Yes, I haven't felt anything like that since. Kabuto started, only to have his eyes widen with realization. Precisely, the Kyuubi, Orochimaru said with a smirk. Orochimaru-sama, why are you smiling? Kabuto asked, still confused by his master's demeanor. Well, you didn't see any giant foxes roaming around, did you? Orochimaru asked. Well, no, so that means Naruto is still alive, Kabuto said. Exactly, so that means I can convince him to help me destroy Konoha, Orochimaru stated. But why would he help you? He hates you? Kabuto asked. Quote. When everything you know and love is taken from you so harshly for such a ignorant reason. All you can think about is anger, hatred, and even revenge, and nothing can change your mind, Orochimaru said in a low voice. Kabuto sighed. Very well, Orochimaru-sama, but don't hold your hopes too high. The boy is a too much like Jiraiya in my opinion, Kabuto advised. Ku. Worry not, Kabuto. When on the path of revenge, no one knows what you'll turn into. Who knows, with a push in the right direction, he'll turn into a little me, Orochimaru chuckled with a smile most unpleasant. This is going to be hard to explain, Kabuto mentally sighed as he left the room, leaving his master to his nefarious plan. Back with Naruto and the group. Naruto, is that you? Sakura asked as she walked forward. Hi Sakura-chan. It's me, he answered. What happened to you, boss? Konohamaru asked. I've simply changed, Konohamaru, for the better, Naruto said with a smile. But why, Naruto? You were such a sweet boy, Yugao stated. You tend to grow cold when your brother drives two Chidoris through your chest and you're betrayed by the one you call Sensei, Naruto said with an anger-filled voice as his eyes glowed with great fury. Naruto, please, two people betrayed you, Sakura started, only to be stopped by an explosive wave of killer intent sent at her. She froze in terror and so did everyone else. Naruto turned around with a rage-filled look in his eyes, but what, Sakura? I should forget that ever happened and go back to the place that has shunned me since birth, go back to the place that citizens beat me, threw rocks at me, spat at me. For sake I was even crucified once. Naruto screamed, sending shock throughout his listeners. What? Yugao yelled, believing his words to be false. She had read everything on Naruto, and crucifixion was never in the Anbu reports detailing his attacks, nor in his medical records. It's true, look, he said as he lifted his sleeves up to show a large hole going through both of his arms. He also lifted his pants legs up to show similar holes to the horrified group. When did this happen? Iruka asked, enraged beyond all belief that someone did this and got away with it. 3 days prior to graduation, Iruka-sensei, Naruto explained, they cornered me and got me into the forest. He continued, if it wasn't for Guy-sensei, I would have died, he finished as everyone looked to Guy. Guy-sensei, is that true? Tenten and Lee asked. It's true, if it wasn't for me, poor Naruto-san would have been killed. Guy said. Flashback. Get the demon up there. A villager shouted as two other pinned Naruto's arm to a cross. Do it. A silver-haired masked Anbu shouted to the group. The villagers nodded and put a large nail onto Naruto's arm. What are you doing? Naruto screamed as his eyes widened. Shut up. Suffer like our families did. A villager yelled as he grabbed a hammer and smashed it into Naruto's arm. Naruto screamed in extreme pain as the nail drove through his flesh and bone, embedding itself into the wood. The villager put a nail on his other arm. No, please, Naruto cried in no avail. The villager smashed the nail into his arm and another scream of pain came from Naruto. The villagers repeated this process with his legs. Naruto by now was crying and begging for them to stop. Please, what did I do? He choked out. You ruined our lives, demon. The same villager yelled as he took another nail and positioned it at Naruto's forehead. Now die. He said as he rose his hand up and the crowd started to cheer, and right when the villager was about to swing the hammer down, effectively ending Naruto's life, a yell of Dynamiku Entori. Dynamic entry pierced the air, and a flying foot came crashing into the side of the villager's face, sending him flying and crashing into a tree. Everyone looked to see the culprit and saw none other than the handsome devil of Konoha, Might Guy. Guy, you fool! A villager yelled. You are the fools. How dare you attack a boy? Guy roared as he got in his stance. Very well, we'll have to kill you first. Get him. A villager roared to the other villagers. Stop. A voice yelled, Everyone looked to see a small army of Anbu. You will not harm the boy, they yelled as they ran at the group and started to knock them all out. Meanwhile, in the chaos, the silver-haired Anbu took his chance to escape amidst the chaos. Damn that guy, why did he stop the execution? Did he care for that filth? How dare he? He killed Sensei and needs to die. He muttered to himself as he hopped through the trees away from the scene. Guy found Naruto and grabbed a sword from one of the knocked out Anbu and ripped the nails out of Naruto among his screams as he pulled each nail out. When all of the nails were out, he grabbed Naruto's now limp form and rushed him to Sarutobi, fearing the worst. End flashback. Everyone stared in shock. Arigato for that guy sensei, Naruto said with a bow. My pleasure Naruto-san, Guy said with his trademark, nice guy, pose, including shining teeth. Right. No, Naruto started until his ear twitched and he heard. Okay. This is the place, scout it out and find those scrolls, kill anyone who you find, he heard Kakashi order, his blood boiling as he heard his voice. Hi, came the reply of his team members, his eyes widened and he looked out the window to see Neji, his eyes widened and then narrowed as his blood boiled to the near point of evaporation, he turned to the group with the coldest, angriest eyes they've ever seen, why you set me up, he growled. What? Sakura asked. You led them here, it was all a trick, you don't care for me. It was a lie, he roared as his eyes began to glow like embers with rage. Naruto please. Sakura pleaded. No, I won't listen. Guards. Naruto yelled as a group of minions swarmed into the room, putting the group on edge. Yes sire. The minions asked. Take them to the cells, I have a few rats to deal with, he said as he grabbed his helmet and put it back on before jumping out the gaping hole in the wall. Yes sire. Let's move you meat bags. One of the Browns said as he held his spear at the group had no choice but to surrender and follow the minions to the cells. Go on, one of the Browns said as they poked Sakura in the butt with his spear. Sakura gasped before growling, you pervert. She yelled as she kicked the minion through the wall. 3 blues jumped behind her and shot her with tranq darts from their blowguns. She groaned before falling to the ground. The blues grabbed her legs and dragged her into the cell while 2 others went to go tend to the injured Brown. With Naruto landed onto the ground, causing the ground below him to crack in a tremor to rock the ground. Kakashi felt the earth shake and was slightly startled. Neji, go check that out, Sai and I will continue searching, Kakashi ordered as he pulled a kunai out of his holster, preparing for anything. Hi, Neji said with slight fear in his voice. He looked in the direction of the tremor and saw the entity with the unholy chakra he saw earlier. He gulped, shaking all fear off as he advanced, or at least he thought he did, until he noticed his hands shaking as he grasped his kunai tightly. Naruto waited around the corner, one gauntlet off, waiting for Neji. Anyone there? Neji asked shakily as he advanced to the corner of the building. The last thing he would ever see was a large clawed hand swipe across his face. He yelled in extreme pain as the claw pierced his eye, slashed across his nose and slashed across his other eye. His world immediately went black as blood flowed down from his eyes and down his face. He fell to the ground and screamed at the top of his lungs, clutching his destroyed eyes as he rolled around on the ground. Naruto became annoyed by the scream and grabbed Neji by the throat, silencing him. You deserve this for betraying my friendship, he whispered into Neji's ear. Neji's eyes widened. Kyuubi? He asked fearfully. Naruto scowled from Neji's response. No, Naruto. He growled as he snapped Neji's neck, his body falling limp in Naruto's arms. He dropped the limp body to the ground. Who's there? Kakashi yelled. Running to the scene after hearing the screaming, he saw the helmet-wearing man and lifted his hiate up, revealing his Sharingan. You will pay for your insolence. He roared as he pulled out a kunai. You dare threaten me Sharingan no Kakashi? Naruto asked as his Mangekyo Sharingan, sorry for the stupid name _, flared to life. Kakashi's eyes widened. I am possible. No one has had the Rinnegan since the Rakudo Senin, Naruto interrupted. What are you? Kakashi asked fearfully. Look for yourself, Naruto said as he took his helmet off and tossed it on the ground. Kakashi's eyes widened and then narrowed in anger. Why won't you die? Raikari. He screamed as he formed his signature move, and charged Naruto, but before he could drive his arm through Naruto's chest, it was grabbed by Naruto and snapped in 3 different places. Kakashi screamed in agony as his jutsu deactivated. Naruto threw him down to the ground. Because I won't die until this world is mine and Konoha is in flames. Naruto yelled at Kakashi. Kakashi's eyes widened before he passed out from pain. Naruto smirked as several minions swarmed near him. Sire. Are you alright? A strange pale boy ran away when he saw us, the leader of the group said. No, I'm fine. Burn the corpse, and prep this one in the torture room, Naruto said as he pointed his boot at Kakashi and his finger at Neji. Ha ha. Very well, sire. The leader cackled as he and other minions grabbed Kakashi, Naruto following as 2 Reds put fireballs on Neji, sending him ablaze. Dungeon. Sakura cried. She was ecstatic at first to see Naruto, but when she had seen the monster he had become, and as she looked at the chains binding her and everyone else's arms and legs. Shut up, you whore. One of the Browns shouted as Naruto and the Browns carrying Kakashi passed through the room. Sakura saw Kakashi, knocked out and bloody. Kakashi-sensei. What's going on? She thought as he was taken into a dark and musty-smelling room, a large wooden door slamming shut with a boom that echoed 3 of the rooms, shutting away the horrible acts that were about to be committed there. Kakashi awoke with a groan. He looked to his left and then to his right to see Naruto. With a evil smile on his face, he glared at him. What the air you smiling at, demon? Kakashi sneered. Oh, I'm just laughing at the foon we're going to have, Naruto said in an almost sadistically gleeful voice. What are you, Tsukiyomi? Naruto yelled as his eye started to spin, and as hard as Kakashi tried to resist, it was futile. He was sent hurling into his inner subconscious. Kakashi's inner mind. Kakashi looked around. He was tied to a pole, Naruto looking at him. The area was devoid of all color except for black and red, the area constantly deformed, objects growing a ghost and moving around themselves before returning into one object, like a psychedelic acid trip gone psycho. So you're going to torture me, demon? Go ahead, I can take it, Kakashi spat. Oh ha ha ha. I'm not going to torture you, Naruto said, chuckling as Kakashi stared in confusion. There, Naruto said as he pointed to his right. Kakashi looked to the right to see 4 blurs. As he concentrated on them, his eyes widened. The blurs had turned into his old squad, Minato Namikaze, Obito Uchiha, and Rin. The 4th blur turned into his very father, Tsukumo Hatake, the White Fang. Now that your partners and father are here, I'll leave you 5 to catch up, Naruto gloated as he disappeared in a blur. Kakashi looked at the 4 in horror. Obito and Rin had scowls on their face and Tsukumo and Minato had disappointed looks on their faces. Why did you betray us, Kakashi? Obito yelled as he pulled a longsword out of apparently thin air. You tried to kill the future of Konoha. Rin yelled as she too drew out a longsword. I did not. I didn't put a finger on the Uchiha. Kakashi yelled back. The Uchihas can burn. The Namikazes are, or should I say were, the future of Konoha, Tsukumo yelled as he pulled his own sword out. But sensei was the only Namikaze. Kakashi yelled to only feel cold steel pierce his flesh. He looked to see a sword through his chest. He looked up to see Minato. Sensei, why? Kakashi sniffled. You dare to insult my clan by saying I'm the only one. Naruto is my child and you are a disgrace to what Konoha was in its nobler times, Minato spat. But it's in its noble times now, sensei. The demon is gone and that old fart Sarutobi is Kakashi yelled before being stabbed through the back by Tsukumo. How dare you insult Sarutobi-sama? He was the noblest man alive and you and everyone in the village is scum for celebrating his death, Tsukumo growled as he dug the blade deeper. I don't care what you say. We of the new Konoha are the greatest force in the world. We hold no sympathy for any Kakashi started before getting stabbed through the stomach by Obito and Rin. And this continued for the next 24 hours, Kakashi spurting off about how he and Konoha were now the greatest without Naruto. And one of the four driving a new blade into Kakashi. By the time 24 Tsukiyomi hours had passed, Kakashi had swords embedded in every inch of his body except for his neck, head, and heart. Even his Achilles heels had swords through them. He was covered in blood, every inch of his clothes were soaked, completely red. He looked as the images faded away and he returned to the real world. Real world. Kakashi gasped as the Tsukiyomi experience took its effect on his body. He wheezed from fatigue and exhaustion. Naruto clapped slowly. Well, I must admit I'm surprised you survived, but I am also overjoyed, Naruto said with a evil smile. Because now, Naruto continued as he picked up a kunai. The real fun can begin, he said as he grabbed Kakashi's arm and ripped the sleeve off. He took the knife to his mouth and blew some fire onto the blade, making it glow and sizzle. He then pressed it into Kakashi's wrist, searing the flesh. Kakashi grunted in pain and tried to squirm, but was too weak. And not only did Naruto keep the blade on the wrist, but he also, to Kakashi's horror, began cutting his hand from his arm. He screamed in pain as Naruto reached the bone and began mercilessly cutting through it, finally reaching the other side, completely disconnecting the hand from his body. And this one, Naruto said as he went over to the other hand. No, wait, Kakashi screamed out in pain as Naruto cut off his other hand slowly. Naruto grabbed Kakashi's other arm and went to his forearm, and he slashed it through Kakashi's arm. He slowly slid it downwards, peeling the skin off his arm, only leaving muscle. Kakashi started to scream in agonizing pain. He never expected the demon to be like this. He thought it to be dumb and weak, not brutal and vicious, and where he was once smug and confident he would win, he was now scared of dying. Please, he begged. Naruto looked at him with rage-filled eyes. Please what? He yelled. Please stop torturing the one behind everything that has gone wrong in my life. You were the one who set up the crucifixion. You were the one who tried to kill me when I was 8 with that damned Raikari. And now, I'm returning the favor. Several times over. Naruto roared in an unholy voice as he grabbed 2 rusty swords and drove them through Kakashi's arm, causing him to scream again. He took 2 more and drove them through his legs. Once again Kakashi screamed out. Ya know Kakashi, every time I've seen you, I've never seen a sight of joy. Strange. Every human should smile at some point in their life, so I asked myself, why so serious? About you, and I was going to ask you the question, but I never got the chance. So Kakashi, why so serious? Naruto asked to a silent Kakashi. Well, then I asked myself, how can I put a smile on my sensei's face? And now I know how, he said as he picked up his kunai again. Now, let's put a smile on that face, he said as he pulled Kakashi's mask down, revealing his face as he positioned the kunai at the tip of his cheek. After all, shouldn't all scarecrows have smiles on their faces? He finished as he punctured the flesh, sliding it to the other side of his face, creating a Glasgow smile on him, causing him to scream out in pain again. And now, I'm going to take what you hold dearest, Naruto growled as he took his gauntlet off to show his claws. Kakashi knew right away what was going to happen, and before he could even widen his eyes, Naruto drove his claws through Kakashi's left eye, completely destroying his Sharingan. Kakashi only whimpered as he felt the kunai touch his throat, and he heard Naruto say, "This is the end." In a growl, Kakashi only closed his eye, waiting for death's embrace. Naruto slid the kunai across Kakashi's throat slowly, blood spraying out of his neck as he gagged and his eye widened. After dragging the blade along his throat for a full minute, he slowly slashed his jugular, ensuring his death. Naruto left the room, slamming the door and leaving Kakashi to drown in his own blood. Near the tower, 2 men walked down a path. One looked like a young man, with short, messy black hair, silver skin, and dull green eyes with slit pupils. Lines descended from his eyes like Jiraiya, only straight and the color cyan, making it appear as if he is crying. His face was in a frown, the expression he almost always had plastered on his face. He wore a white jacket, black sash, and a white hakama. He had a strange, large hole at the base of his throat. On the left side of his head he had half of a helmet made out of bone. The other one was a larger man, who had spiky blue hair and blue eyes, which have blue-green lines below them similar to the eye markings on the Panthera genus of cats. His attire consists of a white hakama and a black sash. His white jacket was ragged with an upturned collar. The inner lining is black, the sleeves are rolled up, and he wears it open, leaving his muscular chest revealed and showing a large hole similar to the one on the left except it was on his abdomen. The right side of his face though was the most intriguing part of him. Along his right jaw bone was a fragment of a mask that looked exactly like a human jaw, except it had a point at the top of the curve, and the teeth were sharp and predatory, almost like a shark. "Hey Ulquiorra, where the hell are we going again?" the blue-haired man asked. "We are going to investigate that disturbance Aizen-sama felt Grimmjow," Ulquiorra said to his partner, in his normal depressed-sounding voice. As much as he loathed this setup, he had a mission and he would do it. "Right," Grimmjow growled when the sun was suddenly blotched out, leaving darkness. The two looked up to see a large creature that breathed fire fly through the air with large wings. Around it were the 9 Nazguls and the Witch King, all riding their fell beast mounts. They were heading towards the tower. "Well, it looks like we're not the only ones who felt that power," Grimmjow said as Ulquiorra nodded in approval. "For once, I agree with you Grimmjow. Every supernatural force for several thousand of miles must have been drawn to the power flux," Ulquiorra said. "Yeah, let's get over there," Grimmjow replied as the two picked up their paces. On a hill overlooking the tower, a man in purple armor stood on a hill, one red eye gleaming from the darkness of the inside of his matching purple helmet, a large sword with an eye that disturbingly seemed alive with the way it blinked and moved around. Observing its environment, the sword was gripped by a large brown clawed hand. "So, that's the disturbance. Whoever is the master of that tower will feel my wrath. And I shall get another soul in the process," Nightmare yelled as he ran down the hill towards the tower. On another hill overlooking the tower, a large wolf stood on the hill. The alarming thing about this wolf was not its beautiful silver fur, or its piercing yellow eyes, but it was the fact that the wolf stood on 2 feet, and it had blue pants on with a orange cloth belt. This creature was what many people call a lycanthrope, or a werewolf in simpler terms. The creature growled at the castle, as if he was suspicious of the forces in the tower. It rushed at the tower. Back at the tower, Naruto stormed out of the tower to see 2 Browns hoisting the burnt corpse of Neji over a cliff, ready to drop him. "Stop," Naruto growled as the Browns froze. "Drop him," he ordered as the Browns did so. "Why master?" the Brown asked. "I have to do something," Naruto said as he walked over to Neji and put his hand on Neji's head. "Give me your memories," he said as he literally ripped Neji's spirit out of his body and absorbed it. He closed his eyes and began to recall Neji's memories. Neji's memories. One day earlier, Neji walked into the main house. He was to meet Hiyashi, who had something important to tell him. He entered Hiyashi's room. "Ah Neji, come in," Hiyashi said with a rare smile. "Hi," Neji said as he entered, closing the door on his way in. "What is it you wanted Hiyashi-sama?" he asked. "Well Neji, I've talked to the clan elders and we would like you to join the main family," Hiyashi said to the shocked Neji. "Nani?" Neji exclaimed. "It's true. We would also like to remove the caged bird seal from you," Hiyashi said as he went over to Neji and lifted his headband up. He did some hand signs and his hands glowed green. He placed his hand on Neji's forehead and shouted, "Kai!" And in an instant the seal faded. Neji was so surprised and happy that he dropped to his knees and started sobbing. Oh arigato Hiyashi-sama, arigato. He cried. Wait, there is one thing you must do, to repay our great kindness, Hiyashi said in a stern voice. Neji looked up. Anything. Neji exclaimed. Kill the Kyuubi, Hiyashi ordered. I don't understand Hiyashi-sama, hasn't the Kyuubi been dead for 13 years? Neji asked. Not true, the Bijus cannot be killed, so the fourth Hokage sealed the fox, turning him into a boy, named Naruto Uzumaki, Hiyashi lied to the shocked Neji. Why you mean that? You were friends with a demon, yes, Hiyashi interrupted. So, to become a true member of the clan, I must murder Kyuubi. Neji asked. Yes, Danzo has already started to remove the demon taint from the village. My daughter was weak, she held feeling for the scum, so I exiled her from the village, but to truly be rid of the corruption the demon must die, Hiyashi said. Neji stayed silent for several seconds. I will do it, Hiyashi-sama, I will begin the search at once, Neji said as he left the room, sealing his fate. 4 hours later, Neji entered the Hokage's office, Sai and Kakashi waiting for him. Ah, you're here, Neji, we can discuss the info of the mission now, Danzo said as he passed a file over to the group. Kakashi opened the file and began reading the contents. Anbu have reviewed the damages and have calculated that a majority of the forbidden jutsu scrolls, including some we retrieved from Orochimaru when he fled after the Chunin exams, were stolen, as well as some personal files and blueprints for our defense system. As such, capturing the scrolls are a critical objective. Failure to do so will result in execution, Danzo growled. Hi, we'll retrieve the scrolls at once, the group minus Sai said. Now get out of my sights, Danzo sneered as the group took their leave. End flashback. Naruto opened his eyes, so they were telling the truth, he thought as a brown broke him out of his thoughts. Master, what would you like us to do? The brown asked. Get rid of him like the trash he is, Naruto growled as he spat on Neji. And the scarecrow man, You just answered your own question, Naruto answered. The minions stood in silence, pondering Naruto's words when they realized what he was talking about. Ah. It shall be done, sire. They exclaimed as Naruto entered the castle, slamming the door on his way in. Dungeon. The group stood in silence, still shackled when they heard footsteps. They looked to see Naruto. He walked up to the door of the cells and opened it, and he walked up to the shackles of everyone and broke them. You're free to go if you want, he said as he began to leave when he heard a yell of, hey. He turned around to see the one most likely to mouth of mouthing off, Kiba. Yes, Kiba, what the hell, man? You imprison us and now you're letting us go. What's with the change of heart? He demanded. I have gathered substantial evidence of your innocence, therefore I have no grounds to imprison you, Naruto stated as he started to walk out of the room. You Naruto? Sakura asked as Naruto turned around. Yes. What happened to Kakashi-sensei? Sakura asked. Naruto simply pointed towards the open door of the torture chamber. The group's eyes wandered to the room and then widened in horror. Kiba ran to the toilet in his cell and proceeded to empty his stomach. They stared in horror and then noticed Naruto leaving the room. Their gaze returned to Kakashi. The whole group hated Kakashi for what he did to Naruto, but they never expected him to die such a horrifying death, and at Naruto's hands no doubt. Sakura snapped out of her bewilderment and ran upstairs to Naruto. Naruto! Sakura yelled, who didn't even turn around. Yes, Sakura-chan, he asked. We would like to join you in your quest, she announced, intriguing Naruto enough to make him turn around. Konoha. Sai walked into the Hokage's office. What is the news, Sai? And where is your team? Danzo asked. They were killed. Which leads me to announce dreaded news. Naruto Uzumaki is still alive, Sai announced to the shocked Danzo. Naruto stared at Sakura. Quite the offer you've made, Sakura-chan. I will definitely consider it, so until I've made my decision, you and everyone else shall stay in the luxurious bedrooms on the second floor of the tower, Naruto said to the overjoyed Sakura. Oh, arigato Overlord Sama, Sakura said with a bow. Please, call me Naruto, Naruto said with a smile until he heard a yawn from behind him. He and Sakura looked back and Sakura looked shocked, then enraged. What the hell? She screeched. Ah, Naruto thought. Danzo looked rather worried after receiving news of the Kyuubi container still being alive. The beast would attempt to hunt Danzo down, and with the way the village is in now, he would no doubt succeed. His followers, though fanatical, were weaklings compared to Naruto, not to mention all of those various scrolls being stolen, who knows who has them now. He had to think of something, and he had to think quick. He sat at his desk for several minutes, thinking of a plan as his secretary looking at him anxiously, and that was when it hit him. Get in contact with Oto now. Danzo yelled at his secretary, who jumped at the sudden breaking of silence and fled the scene. Danzo smirked as he sat down at his desk. Soon Kyuubi, soon you shall meet your end, and then I'll be one step closer to my goal, he thought, his smirk growing bigger. Back with Naruto, Sakura was currently fuming, and why you may ask. Well, the nearly S of Ayame, only covered by a towel, were pressed into Naruto's back, who was blushing. Come on Naruto-kun, I want to play some more, Ayame whined, still completely oblivious of Sakura, who was red-faced with anger as she clenched her teeth with rage, a terrified Naruto looking on. What the hell is she talking about? Sakura roared, finally getting the attention of Ayame. Eek! Sakura-chan, how long have you been there? Ayame yelled, frightened. Since you started seducing Naruto-kun. Sakura yelled, but suddenly peeped and covered her mouth after adding the suffix. Ayame gave a sly smirk, losing all feeling of fear in her. Oh ho, so it's kun now Ayame said as she approached Sakura. When did this happen? She asked. What's going on? A tired voice asked. The three looked up to the stairwell to see a tired-looking Anko, Kurenai, Tayuya, and Hana trudging down the stairs, wearing only towels. What the Naruto? Sakura yelled, ready to crack some heads open. What's going on? Kiba yelled as he and Shino ran up to see the girls. Holy shit. Kurenai-sensei. Kiba yelled as blood spilled from his nose. Shino turned around to hide his blush and the blood dripping out of his nose. Kurenai yelled in surprise. What are you two doing here? She asked, blushing. Well, Kiba started saying, when he heard footsteps coming from the stairs, and sure enough, the whole group came running up to see what the commotion was, and they saw the girls and stared in either anger, the girls, at Naruto, or not looking at him at all due to massive nosebleeds. Boy, that's a tough one. Woo boy, this is awkward, Naruto thought. Naruto. The girls minus Ayame and the girls on the stairs screamed, ready to rip him to shreds. Wait, I can explain, Naruto yelled, even though he really couldn't. I mean, what the hell was he going to say? He couldn't just say that he had with them because he loved them all. That would get him killed instantly. That means he had only one choice. Okay. Explain. Well, you see, Tayuya and Ayame were injured and so I took care of them, and when they woke up, Kurenai-sensei, Anko, and Hana came, and, well, one thing led to another and, well, we did it, he explained to the aghast girls. That statement was all it took. Sakura and Ino exploded and attacked Naruto with the fury of a rabid bear on steroids. They were punching him, kicking him, choking him, everything. After mercilessly beating him for 3 minutes, Iruka and Guy finally managed to pull the two off Naruto, who was surprisingly unharmed, not a single fist mark on his body, not even any marks on his throat when they strangled him and stomped on his throat. The two huffed before heading upstairs. Naruto sighed as he got up. That could have gone better, he thought, coughing as he got the wind back in him. Master, are you alright? Gnarl asked as he went over to Naruto. Yeah, I'm fine, he said as he started walking until he felt something on his foot. He lifted his boot up to see an envelope. He grabbed the envelope and saw the words, "For Naruto," scrawled on the front. He was about to open the envelope when he heard a horn being played from within the tower and the minions started to scramble out the front door. "What's going on?" Naruto asked. "Intruders have been spotted in the area, sire," Gnarl explained. Naruto quickly nodded and rushed outside. "Outside? What the hell are these things?" Grimjow yelled as he cut down some minions. "I have no idea. Keep fighting," Ulquiorra yelled back as he stabbed a minion through the mouth, causing the minion to screech and gurgle as it fell to the ground. "Defend the castle. Protect the Overlord and his women," one of the minions screeched. A new wave charged the two when a yell of, "Halt!" entered their ears, and they followed the order, ceasing their attack. "Hey! They stopped," Grimjow stated. "And I can see why," Ulquiorra replied as he saw Naruto exit the castle. "Ah, perfect. Their leader." Grimjow roared as he blindly charged Naruto. He swung his sword downwards, attempting to bisect the boy, and he would have possibly succeeded if the blade hadn't been stopped by said boy, and then as quick as lightning, he punched Grimjow, sending the shocked Espada flying into a tree. What the? Grimjow groaned. As he got up he coughed up some blood. His eyes widened. What the? No one has been able to do that since him. Grimjow growled as he remembered a certain orange-haired Shinigami. He growled in rage again before flashing a sadistically evil smile. "Well, you seem to be able to handle yourself, kid. Let's see how you fare to this," he yelled as he fired his Sero at Naruto, who dodged to the right, blowing up a tree in the process. "Ooh, terrifying," Naruto taunted, causing Grimjow to growl again. He fired another Sero at Naruto and it looked like it hit him square in the chest and sent him into a tree before completely destroying it, leaving it a burnt husk, Naruto nowhere to be seen. "Ha! Take that, you little shit!" Grimjow yelled as he turned around and began to walk away when someone knocked on the back of his head. He turned around and was face to face with Naruto, who simply smirked before slapping Grimjow in the face, making him recoil slightly. "Hey! Quite the punch you pack, little man!" Grimjow yelled as he swung his blade again, only for Naruto to leap up into the air and kick Grimjow right in the jaw, causing him to double back in pain as Naruto landed on the ground like a feather. Grimjow growled in frustration. "That's it. You're dead," he yelled as he swung one more time, and this time, he decapitated Naruto. "Hey, piece of shit," Grimjow said as he turned around, and he was about to start walking away when he heard a poof. He looked behind him to see Naruto gone and in place of him was smoke. He looked around the area, trying to find Naruto. "Hey, Pinhead," Grimjow heard from above. He looked up just in time to see Naruto's fists fly down and crash into his face, sending him into the ground. Grimjow got up again, ready for another assault. He was just about to swing when Nightmare jumped down at the two, both jumping back as his giant sword crashed down to the ground, causing an explosion of dust to fly and scatter, causing the three others to cover their eyes. When the dust cleared, the three saw the large man, decked out in purple armor, his red eyes glaring at Naruto and Grimjow. "Who the is this guy?" Naruto and Grimjow thought. "I will show you, the greatest Nightmare." Nightmare roared as he charged the two. Naruto was about to attack when the mysterious werewolf leapt on his back and tried to chew on his shoulder, but couldn't get his teeth through Naruto's armor. While Naruto fought the werewolf, Grimjow began battling Nightmare. They swung their swords, crashing into each other with enough force to cause sparks to fly everywhere. The two growled at each other before continuing their fight. Nightmare swung at his opponent, who slid under the massive sword and slashed at the creature's exposed leg, but his blade was blocked by the purple boot of Nightmare, which not only blocked the blade but also slammed into the side of Grimjow's face, dropping him to the ground. Naruto finally punched the wolf in the face as it continued to try to maul Naruto, causing it to fall off. As the two got up, the werewolf growled and lunged at Naruto, who jumped in the air and began doing hand signs. Kaden. Goryuka no Jutsu. Fire release. Great dragon fire technique, he yelled as he fired 4 fireballs in the shape of dragons at the wolf, who dodged 3 of them but was hit by the 4th, hitting it with enough force to send the wolf into the ground. Naruto landed and grabbed the wolf by the throat, and before it could bite him he threw it into a tree, causing a huge crack to form from the impact. The wolf growled as it got back up and was about to attack again when the tree fell down and slammed onto it, knocking it out. In the castle. Wow! Naruto sure has gotten strong. Kiba exclaimed, as he watched Naruto fight from a window. Yeah, he certainly isn't the Dobi we knew him as in the academy, Ino commented, as she too watched Naruto from the window, along with the rest of the genin. They watched in awe until they heard some growling behind them. They turned around to see 2 devilish-looking dog creatures. They had brown skin, sharp horns protruding from their head, teeth as sharp as steak knives, and piercing red eyes. What the hell are these things? Uruka asked. Zool. The one on the right roared as it charged the group along with the one on the left, causing the ninjas to get into their battle stances, ready to fight the beasts. Back with Naruto. Naruto charged at Nightmare, his sword drawn as he attempted to stab him, but the beast of a man saw it coming and grabbed Naruto's sword, breaking it in half as he threw him away from him. Grimmjow took the chance to stab Nightmare through the chest, but he only chuckled as he pulled the blade out of his chest and threw it aside, and began to choke Grimmjow. The time is ripe, you shall become part of me. Nightmare growled as he gripped his sword, ready to stab when Naruto came up behind him, driving the sharpened stub of his sword along with his fist through Nightmare's chest, causing the monster to roar in pain, giving Grimmjow enough time to fire a Sero into Nightmare's face, who released him as he clenched the fresh wounds he suffered. RRRGH. You two are quite strong. Your souls will be a great addition. Nightmare growled as he pulled the bloody stump of a sword out of his chest and threw it to the ground, before charging at the 2 again. Wait. Perhaps we can make a deal. Naruto yelled to Nightmare, causing him to stop in confusion. In the castle. Leaf Hurricane. Lee yelled as he leapt at Vin's Clortho, kicking the demonic animal in the face, tripping it up and then kicking it in the face again, sending it flying into the wall. Konohamaru screamed as Zool started charging at him, running away in fright. Akamaru, let's take that beast down. Gatsuga. Piercing Fang, Kiba yelled as he and Akamaru started their deadly spinning attack, hitting Zool like a drill and throwing it through a wall. Hey you. Go get Naruto. Sakura yelled at Gnarl, before going back to the battle with the 2 demon dogs. Gnarl nodded as he jumped out the window. Back to Naruto. What exactly do you mean? Nightmare asked Naruto, confused at the possibility of a deal. You want souls, right? Well, join me and you will have many, many souls to harvest, Naruto said to Nightmare, attempting to convince Nightmare to join his cause of world domination. Oh, and what would make me want to serve you? The beast growled at the now scowling Overlord. I will be all powerful in due time, my friend, and all who fight me will die, make no mistake. So why not join the winning team before it's too late? Naruto said, angering Nightmare, choosing to swing in anger at the person who dare threaten him, but what happened next surprised him. Naruto stopped Soul Edge, a evil demonic sword, dead in its tracks with his bare hand. He then kicked Nightmare in the chest, sending him flying, Soul Edge staying firmly in Naruto's hands. He got up and walked back over to Naruto, who returned the giant sword back to him. See what I mean? He asked as the beast before him grabbed his sword back. You seem to speak the truth. However, if you attempt to deceive me, I will destroy you without hesitation, Nightmare growled. I promise you I speak the truth. Nightmare. And I will join you, for now, he replied in his growly voice. And you too? He asked Grimmjow and Ulquiorra. We don't have a say in the situation, we will return to our leader and decide there. Farewell for now, Ulquiorra answered. Grimmjow grunted in response, still upset that he got his kicked by a 13-year-old. The 2 used their Garganta technique to go to Hueco Mundo, to inform their leader of the interesting info they've learned. As Naruto began to walk into the castle, he heard a roar upstairs and Gnarl landed on his shoulder from the window. Sire, there are some strange beasts upstairs menacing your guests. Gnarl explained to his master, Naruto responding by running into the castle and upstairs, to see Vince fly across the room, and crash into the wall. Sakura screamed as Zul lunged at her, ready to tear her face off when a loud whistle echoed through the room. The beasts swung their heads toward the noise, seeing Naruto. The two growled and lunged at him but stopped dead in their tracks as they gazed into his eyes, gleaming as fiery red as theirs. They soon started to whimper and sat down. What are your names? He asked. I am Zul, the one on the right said. I am Vince Clortho, the one on the left said. Why are you here? He asked. We sensed an immense power surge and decided to follow it, in hopes of a new master, Vince answered. What happened to your other master? It was destroyed by the ones known as the Ghostbusters, Zul answered, getting a raised eyebrow from Naruto and many of the other people in the room. I am the source of the power. Will you serve under me? Naruto asked, his eyes glowing like embers at them, and by simply looking through this person's eyes, they saw the intense evil he possessed. Yes, we will guard your castle and protect the inhabitants, the two growled. Good, Naruto said with a smile, turning towards the group, his eyes glowing red. The group looked shocked, especially Iruka, who knew exactly what Naruto now possessed. Naruto, why you have the Rinnegan? And the Sharingan? But the Rinnegan was just a legend Iruka-sensei to entertain the masses. How dense you are for believing it to be merely a rumor. Naruto responded, causing Iruka to frown from being called dense, and by Naruto of all people. No, the Rinnegan was a legendary dojutsu, once held by the Rakudo Sennin, the holder of the 10-tailed beast. Naruto said to the group, who were shocked by this revelation. What? Iruka and the other older ninjas yelled in surprise. Yes, the 10-tailed beast was sealed in the Rakudo Sennin to protect the world from its wrath, however he knew that the beast would be released in the event of his inevitable death, so, he dived the beast into 9 portions, now known as the 9-tailed beasts. I only know the locations of 2 at this point. Shukaku, the 1-tailed tanuki, who is now sealed in Sabaku no Gara, and Kyuubi no Kitsune, the 9-tailed fox who was sealed into the 4th Hokage's son, Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto said, forcing each and every person in the room to go wide-eyed with shock. Naruto was the son of the 4th Hokage. Though the news of him harboring Kyuubi was really only shocking to the genin. What are you talking about, Naruto? Sakura and Ino yelled. It's true, Sakura-chan, Ino-chan, I had one of the most powerful demons in the world harbored in me, costing my mother and father their lives, Naruto said, Ino blushing at the added suffix. Wait a minute, you just said, had. Kiba yelled. Ah, yes Kiba, I had him in me, until Sasuke drove that last Chidori through my chest and Kakashi sent me to the bottom of the lake. The Kyuubi offered to fuse with me and save my life, so I did, and that's what caused that huge tower of chakra and my new form, he explained to the group, trying to find the words to explain his change. So, you fused with Kyuubi? Yugao asked. Yes, but he prefers to be called Uryu, Naruto responded. Uryu? I honestly don't know yet, he hasn't told me either, Naruto answered. Is there some place we can rest? Sakura asked Naruto. There are some rooms, 2 hallways over that way, 2 people to a room, leave something on the door for people to know it's occupied. The large room at the end of the hallway belongs to the Overlord, you may only enter there when invited, Gnarl explained to the group as he pointed to the left of him. Arigato, the group responded as they went through the large gray stone hallway, 5 redwood doors with a black iron handle on each side, with a twin redwood door at the very end of the hall, a evil, demonic-looking metal face adorning both doors. Sakura passed a door on the right, with a purple hat with 3 violet-colored circular-shaped things on the top with the Sound Village's emblem on the back of the hat and bandages wrapped all around it nailed to the wall via a kunai, a white bandana tied to another kunai next to it. I recognize that bandana as a Yame's, but who owns this hat? Why did Naruto-kun bring a sound ninja here? Was it that red-haired broad at the stairwell? What did he say her name was again? Tayuka, Tayuya, whatever. Sakura thought as she continued through the hallway, passing a door with a picture of Anko and Kurenai smiling together, until she reached a door that was open. She looked inside to see Ino. She opened the door more, creaking a bit, causing Ino to turn around suddenly. "Oh, it's you, Sakura, what do you want?" Ino asked. I was wondering if I could stay in this room with you. She asked. "Why? There's plenty of other rooms there," Ino said. "Well, you're the only other one here who I consider a friend, other than Naruto-kun, and I haven't been invited in his room so, yeah," Sakura answered. Ino looked at Sakura to see her expression. She was clearly serious with what she was saying. She ultimately sighed in defeat. "All right, you can take that bed forehead," she groaned. With Naruto finally having some peace, Naruto pulled the envelope with, "For Naruto," scrawled on the front out of his pocket and opened it. Inside were 2 letters. He pulled them out and opened one of them. It was written in pink letters. "Dear Naruto-kun, I wanted to say this before you left, but never had the chance. I love you, Naruto. I know that I always pushed you aside for Sasuke-tem, and for that I'm terribly sorry. It was merely a crush-turned obsession that not only harmed you, but me too. It turned me into an angry shell of a fangirl who, only through your and Ino-chan's help was I finally able to break from. The day the village was attacked, when Gaara almost killed me, you were the one that saved me. At first I didn't believe it, but Sasuke reassured me, telling me that he had never seen you fight for anything harder. After that, I started to see you in a new light, as did Ino. We stopped thinking you of the idiotic loser everyone else thought you were. For the longest time, I was unsure if I actually loved you or not. However, after last night's confrontation with Sasuke, where he struck me down after I confessed any kind of lingering feelings I had, I'm positive that you're the one for me. Love, Sakura-chan." To say Naruto was shocked would be an understatement. His eyebrows were raised, his eyes white as dinner plates, and his mouth was agape. Sakura Haruno, the woman who would beat him senseless almost every day, just confessed on paper that she loved him, and Ino too. He quickly grabbed the other note. This time it was in dark orange lettering. "Dear Naruto-kun, I want to say, as does Sakura-chan, that we love you, Naruto." Yes, you read it right, love. After years of being hopelessly obsessed with Sasuke, we've finally opened our eyes. He was a arrogant bastard who was only capable of loving himself, but you are one of the most kind and caring people we've met, who puts his life on the line for people he barely knows. After I heard you saved Sakura, I must admit I was skeptical, but after Sakura told me Sasuke himself told her, I believed it too. And then when Sasuke left Konoha for his insane lust for power, that's when I finally figured out that I love you, Uzumaki Naruto. Love, Ino-chan. Naruto put the letters down and sighed, simply taking in the whole situation. Sakura and Ino, 2 people who would smash Naruto's face in rather than talk to him, just both confessed their love to him. He pocketed the letters and headed towards the rooms, wanting to get an answer from them. With Sakura and Ino were blushing like mad. And why, you may ask? Well, the 2 were only clad in their underwear, Sakura wearing frilly pink panties and Ino a skimpy glittery blue thong. Each of them had bandaging covering their makeshift bras. "You first, Ino pig," Sakura said. "You seem so confident, forehead." "Fine," she said as she unwrapped the wrappings on her, throwing them on the ground. "Well, what do you think, Sakura-chan?" Ino purred as she shook her S at Sakura. Easily bees, small light brown nipple adorning the fluffy pillows. Impressive, but how about these?" Sakura said as she pulled the wrappings off, releasing her S from their prison with a bounce, making Ino gasp, "What about these?" Ino-chan. Those bandages really helped hide them. Sakura purred back. She had at least CS, light pink nipples about the size of a human eye. Sakura, why would you hide these beauties? Ino asked, drooling as she got closer, causing Sakura to cover her S. My mom said it wasn't natural to have S these big at such a young age, so she told me to cover them with bandages, so, boys look at my face instead of my tits, as she so subtly put it. Sakura groaned, thinking about her mother's words gave her an uneasy feeling. Ah, they look magnificent to me. Sakura-chan, screw that bat. Ino said with a smile. Thanks Ino-chan, she said with a smile. Naruto, hearing Ino and Sakura's voice, opened the door. Hey girls, how are you? I. Naruto said as he poked in his head in to see Sakura and Ino, both only in underwear. He quickly exited before they had the chance to kill him. You pervert. The two growled, backing away from each other, as they began to get dressed again, and about 5 minutes later, a knock came at the door. Sakura went to open it, having wrapped her S back up and she got her bicycle shorts back on. She opened the door to see a brown minion. Heh, the master requests you and the blonde one's audience in his bedroom. The minion giggled and drooled before running away, knowing the wrath Sakura would unleash. Sakura blushed. Naruto wanted the two in his bedroom. This was their chance to confess. Ino, Naruto wants us in his bedroom, she said as she looked around in her pockets for the letter. Ino was putting her shirt on without the bandaging. Her nipples, still erect from the cold air, poked through the purple fabric of her shirt. As her S expanded the fabric slightly. Ino, did you have the letter, or did I? She asked. I'm pretty sure you did, Ino said as she checked her pockets too, but neither of the girls could find it. Oh well, we could just tell him, right? Ino said. Right. Let's go, Sakura said as the two left the room, leaving bit of purple and red cloth to mark their room as they headed towards Naruto's room. The two entered the room cautiously, seeing a giant round bed with beautiful red sheets, the only light in the room from 4 candles in the corners of the room. As they entered, they saw Naruto sitting on it, smiling at the two and blushing at their lack of clothes. He patted the bed to signal them to sit, and they walked over and sat right next to him, and he gave them the letters he read. I read your letters, he said with a smile as the two blushed. Naruto, what we wrote was all true. We love you for everything you've done for us. You've saved my life too many times to count, and went on a suicide mission for my stupid fangirl obsession, putting your happiness aside for mine, something I feel terrible for, Sakura said, finally breaking into tears as she finished, now knowing what happened as a result of the mission. She was about to continue when a finger was put to her lips, and a thumb to her eyes to wipe the tears away. Speak no more. I love you, both of you, with all of my heart, and now I do believe the three of us can finally show just how much, he said as he lunged at Sakura, locking into a deep kiss with her. When Ino was about to complain, she felt a hand on her back. She looked back to see a shirtless clone, who pressed her down to the bed and started to kiss her, sticking his tongue into her mouth and searching it. Ino, not being the submissive kind, battled his tongue as he massaged her S through her shirt, causing her to moan out in pure bliss. Let the begin. Naruto unwrapped Sakura's S, causing them to bounce back out of their prison. Naruto's mouth shifted to a smile as Sakura blushed. Naruto-kun, don't sta. She yelped in surprise as she felt his warm and wet mouth encase her nipple and began to la her, slowly at first, but then he began to harder and faster as he massaged her other, stopping only for a few seconds to lick her then continue. After a few minutes he switched ing her right while massaging her drool-covered left and pinching her swollen nipple. Naruto-kun. Ah. Don't stop. Ah. Sakura moaned. Ino pulled her shirt off. She tossed it aside as she also pulled the clone's pants down enough to reveal his, and Ino gasped at it. She took several moments, breathing in and out before she licked at the base of his up to the tip, doing it again and again before engulfing it into her mouth, slurping, and moaning as she bobbed her head up and down his length, stopping at times to lick, then continuing. The clone groaned and moaned as he threw his head back, breathing raggedly. She kept that up for some time, increasing her speed every minute, her leaking juices as she heard Sakura's moans and Naruto's hungry ling sounds. The clone clenched his fists. Ah, ah. Aahhh Ino si-chan, ji gonna come. The clone yelled as it spewed his seed into her mouth. She swallowed most of it, before gagging and spitting the rest out onto the floor. Oh, my dear Ino-chan, I'm sorry. Here, let me comfort you, the clone purred as he pulled her pants down, causing her to gasp as the purple cloth pants fell onto her discarded shirt. Ah, nah. Sakura moaned as Naruto stuck his tongue in her, having already removed her shorts and panties, exploring her tight walls with his tongue as she grunted and moaned, grabbing a fist of sheets as his tongue went deeper and deeper, it around every few seconds. His tongue exited her. Much to her disappointment, she sat up to see Naruto pulling his shirt and pants off, gasping at his manhood. If you pleasure me, he said as he laid down on the bed, hoisting the Sakura over his body, her face at his and her warm wet in his face. I'll pleasure you, my sweet cherry blossom, he said as he buried his face into her, causing her to gasp and moan. She responded by his shaft, then enveloping it into her mouth, and as he licked up and down her pink folds. Nice thong, the clone growled with a smile, as he grabbed Ino and threw her on the bed, facing up in her thong right in his face. He grabbed the knotted strings holding her thong up on both sides and pulled, releasing her warm and wet womanhood from its cloth prison. She gasped and covered her face with her hands as he took a long sniff of the juices leaking out of her core. He grabbed hold of her bottom and pulled her to his mouth and started to eat her out, causing her to scream and moan in pleasure as she grabbed and squeezed her. The sounds of wetting, slurping, and moans filled the dark room for several minutes as the three lovers pleasured each other. Naru ah! Sakura cried out as her juices spurted into Naruto's waiting mouth and his seed spewed into her mouth, who, unlike Ino, swallowed his whole load, shuddering for a few seconds from the bitter taste. Ah, ha, ah. Ino screamed in pleasure as she came into Naruto's mouth, who slurped up her juices before getting up and sitting on the bed, panting slightly. Ino looked at Naruto's bulge and smiled before straddling Naruto. Give it to me, Naruto-kun. Me hard. She moaned as she locked him into a kiss. Naruto lifted her up and positioned his at her. He broke the kiss and moved his face towards her ear. Bite into my shoulder when it hurts, he whispered as he plunged his into her, breaking her hymen. She screamed in pain and bit into Naruto's shoulders as tears poured from her eyes. Naruto grunted as she bit deeper into his shoulder as he started thrusting in and out of her. Kami, she's tight. Naruto groaned as he licked his lover's neck and held her closer to his body. Naruto-kun, is it going to hurt? Sakura asked, sitting up before kissing him. Yes, my love, it will, but only momentarily, then, there will be only pleasure, he said as he stroked her cheek. She nodded and laid back down. Make love to me, Naruto-kun, show me all of your love, she said as he nodded and placed his manhood at the entrance to her womanhood. He slowly entered, then quickly thrust in, causing Sakura to yell out in pain. Tears started to run down her face, but were quickly licked up by Naruto's tongue. After a minute just remaining still, she gave a nod to keep going and he began thrusting into her. Naruto-kun. So incredible. Ino yelled as Naruto thrust into her, holding her close to his chest and kissing her. She eventually came, he followed soon after before poofing away. She fell to the bed, shuddering in pleasure. Naruto-kun. Sakura screamed out as she came, her juices splattering onto her lovers before he too came, his seed spewing into her. The two fell to the bed, panting heavily, covered in sweat. Some of it trickled down to Sakura's neck before the salty liquid was licked up by Naruto's tongue. This got a groan of pleasure from the pink-haired Kunoichi as she snuggled into her lover's chest, Ino grabbing onto Naruto's back, who was smiling widely as his childhood crush and her rival held onto his body, having finally agreed to share one thing, and as Naruto dozed off into a slumber with his lovers, one thought crossed his mind.